So you'd flown out to the gas giant. There was a far trader there. It hadn't noticed you. Andy expertly piloted in under no power, and then basically you forced the ship to surrender. You captured a female Villainy noblewoman.
Oh, yes.
Modesty Scrope, who you took back to your other ship. Then there was a short intermission as a gigantic space squid covered in copper and brass came past and sent the ship spiraling through the atmosphere. You lost connection to your dolls, and then the Christmas thing happened. And so in the meantime, your dolls have managed to turn the ship around and started maneuvering out of the gas giant and headed back to the planet. As you jump back into your dolls, you realise some time has passed. And unfortunately, poor Earl has had a 404 connection not found all over Christmas.
All the time.
So yes, so you've got the crew in the brig. You've got Miss Scrope in one of the cabins, I believe, with the locked off with one of the grav plates, and the ships have already been brought under control, and they're heading back to the little heaven out of the gas giant's gravity well. Is there anything else that you need reminding of?
What year is it?
Oh, I don't know. 7.
Sounds good. I'm ready, baby.
Miss Scrope, you'd captured her personal organizer, but you couldn't get into it. And now you have 2 ships, I believe. Andy was piloting the Hot Trod, and Davey was piloting the other ship back. If I recall correctly.
Yep.
So what would you like to do? Or are you just going to wait until the ship gets back to the planet? You had a whole load of pirates, bandits, whatever you want to call them, captured. Quite a lot on Little Heaven, and then you have another bunch on the ship. And Ernesto said, "Oh, we'll take them back to Silea for legal action."
Did we ever work out which direction the Kraken ship was heading in?
You didn't. It was it caused such a disturbance in the gas giant. It threw all your sensors off, and the ships just started spiraling helplessly out of control. And that apparently contributed to you losing connection with your dolls for several hours.
We should slap that guy at some point.
So it's up to you. Do you just want to fly back to the system, or is there anything you want to do on the way? It's going to take you a few hours to get back there.
Ooh, is it worth trying to persuade Madam to open her organizer? Or is there any way we can force it?
Have I tried hacking it?
You have not tried hacking it.
Hack it.
I'll see if I can hack it.
It's an extremely difficult task. Give me a roll on your clever.
Anybody who'd like to help us? I think I'll spend a fate point as well.
And how are you spending this fate point? I'm going to start spending more fate points. As I can't seem to roll to inflict any damage upon you whatsoever. So, what are you doing to enable this fate point?
I'm connecting it to our Nokia.
And you're trying to confuse it.
Well, this Nokia's got a special app called the Book of Truth.
The Book of Truth app.
I can find where my fate points are and which one I am.
Which one you are? You are the one on the far left.
I found him.
Right. So you're connected to the Nokia, and you attempt to decrypt it. Well, first of all, just give us a straight up clever roll. 2. Right. The personal organizer has a thumbprint lock on it, Dave, and also a secondary password. The other thing is that you could screw the bottom of it off and remove the volatile memory store, but that's going to be encrypted to the computer. So you could plug it into something else and try to decrypt it. Whichever way you want to do it.
Chopping our thumb off.
You can scan a thumb and just do a high-res picture of it.
Yeah, but the possibility of actually having somebody hack our thumb off, or of course, with us being Varga, biting our thumb off, might induce it to give us the password and all.
Oh, sorry.
So which cabin have you stuffed her in? On the Trod. Oh, Dave, actually, you're flying the ship. So you're flying the other ship, and they're all on the hot Trod. You're
I
by
can't do
yourself.
it. I'll take the fate point back then.
You can take the fate point back, but you can still have the roll because you saw this beforehand.
Okay.
When you had a look over the organizer, so you could like pull the memory module out, or you could try and convince her to give you the password and some kind of finger.
Ooh. Earl, we could go do good barger, bad barger. Barger even.
Bad fogger, crazy fogger.
I wonder if my car lockpicking kit for getting around them sort of encrypted ignition systems would help.
Is Earl on the same ship as the noble woman?
Well, you tell me. I assumed that you had took everybody on the Trod because it was a bigger ship, other than Dave, who was lifting the other ship.
Okay, because Earl's paper dolls are male, isn't it?
Yes.
Maybe you should explain to her that he's about to enter the Varga version of Pon Far.
Oh God, do we have to go there? Do we really have to go there?
And does she like your doggy style?
We could just go on and borrow Davy's videos from his cabinet and go say, "This is what's going to happen to you," unless you open your organizer in about 20 minutes. What would you use? What skill would you use for trying to coerce someone?
Forceful, usually.
We could trick them cleverly. Actually, should we work together? You try to force her, and then I'll try to trick. I will play bad cop, good cop.
You keep leaving go again too early.
Sorry, play good cop, bad cop.
I'm going to sit with glue your thumb to your mouse again.
I think Ryan's messed about with my PC.
Ah, right.
But how about you work on that forcefully, and I'll work on it cleverly, and we'll try to do good cop, bad cop.
So who's highest? Who's got the highest of forceful or clever?
I have clever 3.
I've got forceful 2.
Right. So Earl is better off making the roll with a +1 helping from Bracy. So you burst into you burst in.
Clever 5. 4 plus the 1 from Bracy's forcefulness. I'll really let Bracy give it to her, and I'll be like, "Well, look, if you don't help, I'm just going to walk away."
Right. So you grab hold of her. She squeals. She's like, "I'll have you know that I'm a noble woman, and you peasants shouldn't be allowed to touch me," and all of this sort of thing. Then judicial growling from Bracy and being in sort of an attack stance, and she relents and she says, "The password's teddy bear. Just leave me alone, you beasts. And the water's too warm. It should be chilled. It's room temperature."
Hang on a
It's
second.
wet, isn't it?
I'll take the water, walk out to the microwave, put it in the microwave for 5 seconds, then bring it back to her.
So,
I was
so it was one of those like travel plastic bottles of water. So I put it in for 5 seconds, and it's slightly distorted because it's melted a little bit because it's not microwave safe.
Neither is she.
we'll give you a choice, that one, or get an empty plastic bottle, and I'll just piss in it
Wow.
and leave that for her. Go, there you go, love.
Wow. Yes.
This is why bad cop, good cop works, because he genuinely is bad.
He is very bad cop. She says the password's teddy bear, you brutes.
Thank you. Right, we'll lock her back in the room.
Go and tell Davey, who knows these things.
So who's got the organizer then?
Well, I haven't. They have.
Right. So you get on the comms. It's like, Davey, the password's teddy bear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you ask if it's all lowercase or uppercase?
Does that matter?
Yeah. A lot of passwords are case sensitive.
Hang on a sec. I got Alexa and it's annoying me. I'll go and ask her.
She says it's capital T, capital B.
Also, can we borrow your
Two
thumb?
words or all one word?
Right. So, yes, you brute. So you take the organizer over, you press a thumbprint to the reader, and it pops up on the little digital display password, and then you type in teddy bear, capital T, capital B, and it says, welcome modesty, and then it goes boop, 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 and all the file systems available to you.
I'll give it to young David.
Well, you'll have a job because he's filing the other ship.
Mm-hmm.
Make a copy of it onto another computer.
Yeah, we'll get this. We'll get the ship engineer to make a copy of everything that's on there, and then we can have a play around.
Right. So over the next few hours, you have a look through this organizer. There are several spreadsheets, and there are several like Word documents and things like that. There's the delivery of several shiploads of convicts to the little heaven system. Miss Scrubb's personal instructions to the assault teams. Financial transactions from various Silean banks to certain accounts. No names are mentioned here, and the accounts are probably held in false names. So that looks like pretty damning evidence.
She's a noble, so basically, even when we grass her up, she'll get away with it. But that's not the point.
Ah, yes, but if she's not implicated in something disgraceful like this, think of her social standing, that'll go down the Swanee.
Enough money can fix that.
You don't know if the Lady Noble moot, really, do you?
What you do is you find her family's enemies and you send them a copy.
Now that is ridiculously sensible.
Yeah, it's far too sensible for us.
When did we start doing sensible?
The ships come in through the atmosphere, and you bring them in for an almost perfect landing in the center of the colony again. You have to park the second ship, the loose booty, in the school playing field, as it is smaller, and there's nowhere else if you want to park it in the compound, or you can park it out into the cleared part next to the jungle, if you like.
We'll not crush any goalposts, which means we'll crush them all.
Right. So, what do you want to do now? Is there anything particularly you want to do? Ernesto, Muriel comes over to greet Ernesto, and Ernesto's like, "Please, we've got ourselves a bit of a diplomatic incident." It does.
Yeah, that happens.
He says, "We'll have to consult with the lawyers. I'm sure old Ben there was a lawyer back down in the on the old planet." He says, "I'll call a meeting in the community hall. If you need to get cleaned up or anything, then we'll see it about 30 minutes."
Yep, we should shower and shit.
Right, you have a shit shower and a shave. Does anybody want to do anything else, or are you just going to do your ablutions and then turn up at the appropriate time?
I'll make sure that the ship I'm piloting is securely locked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you've got the keys, the jingle jangle keys with a little key ring on, with a gremlin on it. Right, okay, 30 minutes go by, and then the community hall bell rings, and you're summoned into the community hall. There's a meeting of all of the various elders. Modesty Scrope is there. She doesn't have her hands tied, but she has somebody standing next to her with it, carrying a gun. There's not many of the actual colonists inside. It's more just the council. Ernesto says, "Oh, come in, sit down. We've had a bit of a chat. We found out what we're supposed to do." He says, "I've been talking to Ben here," and he gestures to an older guy sitting to the left of him. He says, "As we're an official sovereign state to the Third Imperium, which has suffered unprovoked aggression by a non-sovereign entity, we're entitled within our rights to try, condemn, and execute them all." He says, "But the problem is, she's a Valeni noble, so she has to be tried by a council of her peers, and there ain't no nobles around here."
Well, suppose I was a noble and I tried her and then just shot her in the face.
She looks a little worried about this because after you're threatening, he says, I'll let Ben explain. Ben goes, "Oi, he says the best thing to do is load all of them prisoners onto one of the ships and take her, go back to Silea, and we'll go and see the official personages and get that sorted out." He says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make forms up. I'm going to officially grant you citizenship of Little Evan, and we then elect you as attaches to the consulate at Silea. So you've got diplomatic immunity.
Do not give Bracy diplomatic immunity, you lunatic.
I just sit there smiling.
He says,
God.
"So," he says, "it's up to you. But if we take the big ship there," he says, "that looks like a big pirate vessel. That we might have some problems getting that past customs. But we can certainly tie them up in the other one, put some in low berths, and tie the rest up, if that be agreeable to you."
It's agreeable to me, but I could be a noble and I could just shoot her in the face.
Can I just slap a big diplomatic immunity sticker on the outside of the pirate ship?
I mean,
There you go.
what advantage would it be to this colony if we just shot her in the face? Is there nothing we can just, maybe for the betterment of the colony? I mean, long term?
At this point, Modesty steps forward and she says, "My daddy and his business partner know where I am.
I will
if
reach
I am
my
not,
hand into my belt where my pistol is while she's talking. Like I literally put my hand on my gun.
and then she sort of goes, "Eep," again, making that noise. And Ben goes, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but as a sovereign state of the Imperium, we have to follow Imperial law. Otherwise, if you don't follow Imperial law, that means they can send in the Marines, and we don't want that. So if this colony is going to be taken seriously, we're going to have to play by the rules, basically.
But I'm pretty sure I'm a noble, and I can try her, and it doesn't matter what she says. I'll just say guilty and shoot her in the face. And then we'll follow the law.
I'll lean forward, look at her and go, he'd like to try you. I want to try you. And just give her an evil grin.
That's not the sort of try I was thinking of.
No.
If she plays our
didn't
cards
mean
right,
try
we'll
and
all
go
try.
on. So, I mean, unless she can come up with a better thing, maybe a deal of some sort that would benefit the colony.
Did we ever even ask her why she's doing this?
No, but we should. Why are you doing this?
Money.
She says, my daddy told me to. His business partner gives him instructions, which he relays to me. And as a member of the Scrup mega corporation, then basically I have to deal with the subordinates out in this godforsaken hellhole.
And who is Daddy's business?
I don't know. I've only seen him once. He's some kind of alien gentleman. Looks to be like one of them Aslan type fellas.
So you were just following orders? Because in my
Absolutely.
experience, that's a really bad defense that doesn't work. Not in my experience, obviously. In my reading, I was never there. We were never at Nuremberg, right, guys?
Old Shep and his human owner, Adolf, didn't go well for him.
So Ben says,
Well, Ben, you are the legal mind. So and you represent the colony, so we'll follow what you say.
right. Well, Ben says, aye, well, if you take the loose booty, sorry, not the loose booty, the new ship that we got, it looks just like the loose booty, except it has slightly less exploded cockpits.
The Boost Lucy.
The boot Lucy, yeah. It says, we need to take Miss Scrubs so that we can report her to the Imperial Moot. And then at least one or more of the convicts.
I'm not going to ask. Sounds like a plan.
I don't want to feel bad for asking.
Right. Okay. Well, if you're okay with amenable with that plan,
I'm amenable with it.
anybody else want to do anything, say anything, or?
I will use clever to try to convince her over time during the journey that if she does anything to upset this planet again, that she personally will feel the retribution. Like, not her father or his business partner or anything like that. She personally. So if they do anything bad to this planet, she personally will suffer. I'm going to take me time through the entire journey to make it very clear to her without actually saying the words. You know, work out where she lives, where she drinks, who her friends are, what will happen to her in the long run, all that sort of thing. But I'm going to be very, very subtle, like super subtle. As subtle as a subtle thing in a court of subtle.
Right, well, I think you're barking up the wrong tree, but...
That's my other dog impression.
Didn't they put a dog collar on Lassie?
They did, yes. And
I'm
they
so-
shaved her.
I'm so tempted to knock up fake explosive collar from that collar and put it on her and say, you try any funny business on the ship, detonator. Boop, boop. Just to keep her in tow.
I thought you were going to say knock up and make her puppies.
Later, that's after the wine.
Oh, dear God. You are why I drink.
Right. So unless you have any further things that you wish to do, who do you want to do? Do you want to do any special arrangements?
No, we are going to follow what the colonists want, because at the end of the day, that's our job.
But we'll make sure we're well armed and stuff on this ship. And make
And
sure...
like I say, I'll spend the entire journey making her realise that we hold her responsible. Not a group, not the people, not a noble house, her.
Can we try and take some of the bugs that were in the other ship and bug the room that we're going to use for her on this new ship?
Well, she says, well, if I'm to be dragged halfway across the universe, I should at least be allowed to travel first class as befits my rank.
We only have one class, and it's the same class as the rest of us.
You do have some low berths on the ship if you want to take a bunch of pirate sickles.
We'll take pirate sickles, but she can be awake, but that's as close to first class as we have.
And she says, I will need access to my organizer to be able to take notes for my legal defense when we get to the other side.
Oh, this organizer, I'll say, apparently doesn't work properly anymore. And I'll hand it to Davy.
There's a pen and paper, Pet. Make do with that.
Yeah, we'll give you a spare organizer because this one's a bit dodgy now.
Yeah, we'll actually no. We'll just give her a pen and paper. Here's a pen.
Old school.
Yep. Here is paper. They make it with trees, don't you know?
She says thank you and starts immediately taking notes.
That's all right.
You catch sight of it and it says the doggies were terrible and rude and belligerent and not respectful of my rank at any point.
Wow.
But she's like, I have diplomatic immunity. I just go to the side here, pull guns out and just shoot people.
Leonora, there's 2 L's in belligerent, by the way. Right.
So, Ben goes, just one slight problem that you're going to have to deal with. It's traditional for diplomatic representations to the Emperor to bring a suitable present. This is more symbolic than anything else, but we kind of have not very much in this. We produce cigars, oars, and dream fern resin. It's about all we can make around here.
It's all right. I'll make a gift.
Bring me paper mache.
Yep. I will make a paper mache giant penis. A fertility symbol.
Oh, I'll take a box of his finest cigars.
And rolled on the thighs of virgins.
Get off your phone.
I think the Emperor would like
Southwick.
I think the Emperor would like this evidence of wrongdoing by some of his nobles.
Yeah, Diff, that's exactly the way nobles work.
Yeah, that's how we trust them. It's the Pax Imperium. Do you have a Google phone?
Isn't it the Iridium throne or something, Andy?
Stop being annoying.
Something like that, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, gold's so like lower class. It's like iridium or some weird mineral.
Annoying anyone who's a bit dead and sitting on a golden throne.
No, he's very much alive of his Emperor Stefan. Right, so you do all of this and you depart. Earl, are you going to try and construct some kind of present?
Yes.
A fertility symbol.
I will create a dog fertility symbol.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Using my cleverness. No, I'll carefully make it.
You should flash your vehicle. You really should.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Right. So
I will use my not used yet fate point to roll that again as flashy.
right. Okay then.
There you go.
Right. So you make the first one. The others come into your cabin as you like literally stripped to the waist. You're panting because you can't sweat because you're a vagger. Your tongue lolling out to one side, a bit like the old Patrick Swayze Demi Moore scene. And you're
when they come out,
constructing.
things like, do you know what it is yet?
And they're like, it's a bit bent, that isn't it? And the end's not really supposed to be square. So after several false starts, you managed to create some.
I'll use like if she's got jewelry, I'll use pieces of her jewelry in it.
She does have jewelry. Are you confiscating her jewelry? As you confiscate her jewelry, she writes furiously on a bit of paper.
I'll write, "This is a gift for the Emperor." You should write down there, "I do not, you, not me, you do not respect the Emperor enough to gift him your jewelry." Write it down. Write those words down. Yep, like that. No, you can't have a rubber. Write them down.
Right. After much crafting and a week's worth of tormenting the poor woman and watching the tri-vid, reading the library data.
Giant jewel dog penis. It basically looks like a lipstick. In fact, if you scratch the bottom, it extends.
I'm sure that you're all probably going to be executed for this, to be fair.
I've just forgot to mention that before we set up, I started reading up on imperial law regarding nobles and accusations against wrongdoing against them.
They'll say we put out an airlock, but we have to do it by the rules and all that. Although I think Bracey will agree with me with the airlock. There was an accident on the way there. She fell out of an airlock while playing hacky sack with her jewelry.
While trying to escape.
Yes, for she said the Emperor was a scumbag and couldn't be trusted. Oh, no, is she writing down everything people say? Because this could be brilliant.
Yes, she's writing down everything. She's going through sheets and sheets and sheets of paper.
Awesome. I'll stand there and go, "Stop telling me to kill the Emperor for you. Stop insisting that I murdered the Emperor in your name. Stop insisting the Emperor is a cuckold."
Right, after a week of madness, the ship comes out of jump in the Silea system. I take it Andy is pilot and Davey is co-pilot. Is that correct?
And I am nowhere near the controls. But I will coordinate them using my persuade others to work while making decisions.
Right, so Andy sets the course for Silea, and Ernesto and Muriel call for a meeting. I don't know whether you want to have a meeting in the bridge or you want to have a meeting on the
bridge,
on the cafeteria.
No, the bridge. It's more official. I can sit in my captain's chair and keep pressing random buttons, and every now and then Davey runs over and goes, "Stop that!" Makes all the lights.
No, David set up a special console for you, right, with loads of switches and buttons, but they're not attached to anything. They're just LEDs. So you just press them and they make the Star Trek noise. They go like that. So you're pressing them, but they're not actually attached to anything.
That sounds like a lot like what my kids do with me regularly.
Right. So Ernesto calls a meeting. Ernesto and Muriel come to the bridge.
I'll salute them. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not how it works.
Muriel says, really, we should send we should send her a transmission director flight control alerting the diplomatic corps to the incoming incident, and the Admiralty will need to convene a special court.
Yeah, we should do that.
And alert customs.
We'll do that as well.
Is there any other ships in the system at the minute?
Yeah, there's loads. It's quite a popular system, so there's ships coming in and out of the system all the time.
fly casual, guys. Just don't make it look like the fly casual.
Right. So as you approach the planet, the 400-ton customs system defense boat pulls up alongside. You're currently in the 200-ton far trader.
Should we say hi?
And ask to permission to come aboard.
We should let them, because we're
Does this
good
vessel
guys.
have diplomatic immunity?
No, the two ships that you found are technically still salvage. They looked into the logs, and apparently there's still outstanding payments on them. So they're currently owned by the bank, two separate banks as it happens, and they're not officially belonging to the Little Heaven colony at the moment. And that I'm sure that will not cause any complications whatsoever, because you know what I'm like. So technically, operating an unlicensed ship that you don't own is interstellar piracy. I'm just saying. I mean,
So when the radio across, I go, of course you can come aboard.
bring the rum. Right, Andy. So you're in charge of the snaky docking tube and matching velocity.
It can't exactly be interstellar piracy if you were only bringing the ship back to give it back to the bank.
That's true.
Mm.
And you get a finder's fee.
Yeah. And there rests the case for the defence, Your Honour.
Like it. Right, so...
Andy, stop being clever.
I'll do it. Don't worry, it won't last.
When the ship docks, can we see in the security cameras in the tube who's trying to come aboard or who's lined up to come aboard?
We should be able to.
Is it an inspection team or does it look like it's a bloody strike team?
It looks like it's an inspection team. They do carry snub pistols, which is the 0G guns.
Does any of them look like that bloke who we reckon sabotaged our previous ship?
May have planted a bomb. No, you don't think that you can see them, but they do have security. They will have snub carbines as well, but they're not bringing them out. They're just bringing the sidearms. They board the ship, and the customs service salutes who meets them at the airlock.
I will meet them, and I will use my human resources aspect to basically keep them online. Like, oh yes, but hello, boarding people.
Right. So who else is? Are you leaving Earl to the customs inspectors?
No, I'll hang around close by him and keep an eye on him.
Right. So,
Thank you,
are you
Bracey.
staying on the bridge, Andy and Dave?
Well, yeah, unless they specifically ask for us, because some buggers got to fly the ship.
That's true. So the customs inspector in charge salutes you, Earl, and
I will give him a level 3 rimmer right back.
he says, "Do you mind if we have a look through the ship to make sure that there's no contraband or explosives or anything like that?"
Help yourself. Just be careful. We have some people that we bring to trial who might try to do this whole diplomatic immunity shit, but that won't work.
Is it worth letting them know that this isn't our ship? You know, so if they do find anything, it's not ours.
Well,
yeah, we'll explain to them the
it's-
situation.
it-
We're
it's
returning
got
a
the-
ship.
it's got a standard transponder on, although you can turn it off. So that they'll have picked up the ship transponder signal, and it's basically they'll have everything about the ship. They can call up the registry details, how many payments is owed, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's very naughty, actually. It's got this one. The Hot Trod's got the configurable one where you can set it to be like a 600-ton ship. You can set it to be a merchant ship, and a few other different presets. So that's the really naughty one. The loose booty has a naughty one in because it's got an on-off switch. You're not supposed to be able to turn the transponder off, because obviously,
These are naughty ships, babes.
yes, they are. They take interest in the console, and he says to you, Dave, he says, "This console looks like it's been jury rigged. This one with all the lights and the switches on."
No, it hasn't. It's my console, and it gives me access to every part of the ship. Watch, I'll press some buttons.
He goes, "Woo, blah, 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 blah."
I look at this customs guy and give him a wink.
He goes, "Ah, right, yes, I say that."
And now everything belongs to me.
You press all the buttons, little lights flash. You've got little electronic sliders, and you do
I'll
all
say
that.
things like set
Absolutely
phases
nothing.
to stun and various.
Absolutely nothing
I'll
happens.
lean over Earl with a Scooby stick and go, "Time to take your pills."
Woo! Scooby stick.
Right. So, which cabin do you put Bestrope in?
The crappiest.
The janitor's cabin.
I think we should have put her in low berth.
S7 is the one next to the bog.
That'll do.
You could have put her in low berth. I did ask if there's anything to do.
No, because of accident
Right.
killer.
So they go through the ship. Can you make some clever rolls, please?
Can I spend a phase point to make that clever? Oh no, it's all right.
Make it more cleverer. You notice this time that they're on their very best behaviour. There's no people like going off disappearing, anything like that. I'd say, Andy, you like got the security cameras trained on them constantly, that kind of thing. But when it gets to S7, Modesty stamps forward and she says, "Thank God for that. These people have been treating me with absolute disrespect. They've been absolutely beastly." And she says, "I demand to be taken aboard your ship." And he looks at her and he sort of like does the and he goes, "I'm terribly sorry, but we've got nobody of sufficient rank on their boat to receive you." And she goes,
Turn around and whisper to him, "She's a bit of a twat."
She goes, "I'm a lawyer, I'll have you know. This is absolute rubbish, and I insist that I be allowed on your ship." And he goes, "No, sorry, ma'am. New rules that were just brought in last week. You have to have somebody of a sufficient rank to be able to receive a noble on a ship."
Told you. I whispered to him.
She then bursts into tears, throws herself at the custom agent.
I'll cuddle because I'm very nice.
And can you please make me some more clever rules?
She's probably trying to give him something.
Yep,
Ooh.
she's trying to give him something.
I'll give her something. If she's trying to pass something to him, I'll take it off her and put it in my pocket. Since I was very clever, like I was extremely clever.
I am going to spend a fate point. Well, okay. I'm not going to spend a fate point because I can't beat a 7 even with a +2.
And Earl was about to spend a fate point in return
to make it a 9. So you hear her whisper to the customs officer she's crying out, "If you help me, Commodore Germana will be extremely grateful. Do you understand what I'm saying?"
I'll lean into his other ear and go, "You really shouldn't do that because we know everything that's going on. And we're actually agents for the Emperor." Would that work?
That's a bold lie.
Well, no, it's would that be part of my clever?
That is, you could certainly set up a clever roll for that, yeah.
Right. Well, I will make a clever roll, and then I will also spend a fate point because I've already set up that I know what's going down with my massive clever roll earlier. And then I've got my fate point. Not as massive as I wanted, but you know. We're agents, we're in on this. You really shouldn't get involved. Bad things will happen. Probably
he says, "Sir, I have no intention of getting involved. This is way above my pay grade. One does simply not kidnap a member of the Imperial Moot. So I am not getting involved in any way whatsoever.
I'll slap my arm around her shoulder and whisper in her ear.
He says to you, I'll be frank with you, somebody's going to get executed for this, and it ain't going to be me.
I'll turn around to him and say, you know something, son? That is the best attitude to have in all things in life.
Kidnap's a bit of a strong word.
Well, isn't it? We were transporting her against her will. Because she wanted to be pirating an entire planet under and taking away their lawful ability to rule themselves so that they could take the resources from the planet, which in truth is probably pirate. We were being piratey. She was being invasion-y.
Yeah, but we're only returning her for justice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we slung her in a low berth or anything, is it?
That is true. If we wanted to be horrible, we were going to throw her in a roll berth, but instead...
So you can't put me in a low berth. I've got a rare medical condition that makes me allergic to the drugs that they have to pump into you in a low berth.
I'll turn around and say, if you don't shut up, I'm going to test that out.
She says, huh, and just stomps off to the bed and starts writing furiously.
Okay.
Right, that concluded.
Annoying.
That concluded. He says, right, well, we'll escort you in. You know, the system defense boats can do 4G, whereas you can only do 1G, so they can easily keep up with you and overtake you. He says, we'll escort you in.
And they've got shitloads of missiles.
Yes, they do. They have very loads of missiles. So you continue your journey towards the planet, and then, Andy, you receive a signal. In fact, several signals on the on the type band communications. There seem to be legal firms. There's 3 separate firms that are asking to speak with somebody. There's Banasma and Bailey, Weiss, Terranov and Sioges, and Ziquil Associates, and they're all saying basically, have you been illegally invaded? We can represent you in a court of law.
Legally or illegally?
I'm tempted to reply that we already have our legal representation. That famous firm, Hadaway and Shite.
Do it, Andy. Do it.
Can I look up these legal firms and see if any time they've ever worked for Scrops?
Oh, you can give me a clever roll for that, Dave, I think.
Yeah, because rather than cutting off me snout to spite me face, I wonder if we might not need some legal representation here. But I don't care for ambulance chasers.
Is that your one that you rolled, or have you not rolled yet, Dave?
That's my one that I've rolled. But I can ask other people to have a go as well, you know.
Well, basically, you'd ask them to help, and you search into the ship's library data program. Every time it jumps into a system with an active computer system, they sort of talk to each other. It's like a great system, the way the library data is updated automatically, and at no point, I'm sure, would a virus use that to jump ship to ship, causing a massive, catastrophic destruction of the Third Imperium, because that would just be silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks like I got the virus walls up anyway.
So, is anybody else getting on the terminals to help Dave here?
Yeah. I'll help Dave. I mean, I'm sitting next to him anyway.
Right, so that's a 4. By after a few hours, do you just put them on the hold to like?
Yeah, just I'll pretend to be music and I'll just hum at them.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Who let the dogs out?
Play them some more of that Wagner we like so much.
Wagner. Oh, I love it. Right, love it so much. Right, you find out after a few hours of research that they are all eminent and skilled associates and will work on a contingency.
Are you trying to say they're all no fee, no win?
Yeah, no win, no fee.
That as well, sorry. I really dislike lawyers. IRL.
Yeah, so the three of them are offering their services. Nestor, being a bit of a bump, and it's like, well, I don't have much experience like you big city folks. What do you think? Which one should we go with?
I will cleverly work out which one has the best success rate.
They all seem to have equally good success rates.
The one that is most successful in exactly this type of field of stuff.
Zaquil's associates, you decide upon them.
That is the one, guys. That is the one.
Does it not seem a bit strange that we jump into the system and the first lawyers to contact us are like illegal invasion specialists?
Yeah.
How did they know?
Well, Ernesto did send that message to the Imperial authorities.
Oh, well, yeah, no, fair enough.
So the kind of like ambulance chasers, like he said that he obviously made some inquiries about there being a legal problem with some nobles.
AFK 1 second, and he put a gas mask on because apparently we're all going to die of some Chinese virus.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, I'm ready.
Right, so barring anything else, so you want to take the Zaquil associates?
No.
Is that correct?
I think so.
I don't think it makes a lot of difference because they're probably all working for our dad anyway.
Right, you land the ship on the starship. By the time on the starport, by the time you arrive there, there's already a suite being rented for you, Ernesto, and Muriel. The west corner of the Harmony Tower, which is a high security building with views over Cleon's Palace and the Moot. Luckily, there's one available on the west corner of the 69th floor. I did not write that bit.
Was me?
It has a reception area divided in half by a lower counter, 3 offices alongside, and a long, thin boardroom along the other side. Looks exactly like the one in the Die Hard.
Oh dear. This will end badly.
There's a safe built into the structural girder in the most plushly decorated corner office. It also has halls and gardens suitable for functions and meetings. Because you're in the big time now, boys, so you have proper diplomatic suites. So Ernesto, upon seeing your Varga fertility symbol, says he looks rather worried and says, I really don't think he's going to like that, to be fair.
No, it's brilliant.
Do we know if the Emperor smoked or not?
You're not going to give him a rolly, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say
well, it's not the Emperor, it's Cleon is a local high-ranking noble. The Emperor is Stefan, and he is miles away. So they have a system of nobles spread out through different sectors to carry out the Emperor as well. So you won't unfortunately get to say the Emperor himself.
If the Emperor's name Stefan, is there any member of his family that's called Iolanthe then?
Yeah.
Stefan Iolanthe?
Yeah, it's from that Gilbert and Sullivan's operetta.
No, I don't believe so.
if you look at Discord, I'm wearing my gas mask, guys, just in case.
Either.
Right. So,
what are we going to do?
You get settled. You get settled in the thing. The lawyers say it's going to be a few days while they sort out the various problems.
It can come up in my birthday.
And then Esther says,
Please.
"We're going to have to get you some dress uniforms as proper representatives of Little Evan. You need to get some dress uniforms."
I'm great at dress uniforms. We should make one of our own.
I think we should have our family members with us as well, because we're diplomats, they'll have diplomatic immunity and they can't use them against us.
Also, there's a message comes through from the Imperial Moot that insists that a self-imposed house arrest and parole is sufficient guarantee that Miss Scrope won't skip on the next outbound ship. And so you to release her.
Sorry, don't. Didn't get it. Problem with the communication problems.
Lawyers, man, there's no better, is there?
Well, we can't get wrong if we didn't actually get it. So we'll just pretend we didn't get the message and pretend it was lost in the galactic static due to a thing that happened.
Ball of swamp gas.
Yeah,
somewhere
ball of
overhead
swamp
or-
gas. That did it.
Ben's like, that's not going to fly. They'll just send some heavily armed Imperial lads round and make sure they deliver the message.
That'll do. We'll wait till they arrive. Okay, guys, nobody answers the door.
Your entire plan is don't answer the door. In the meantime, what are you doing with the pirate sickles and Miss Scrope?
Keeping them on ice.
Are you going to actually ice Miss Scrope?
No, we're just going to basically feed her 3 basic meals a day and not let her access any communication.
Well, we're going to make multiple copies of the evidence as well, and leave some in the safe and carry the rest on us.
Well, are you passing a copy of the evidence on to Zaquil Associates, who are now your lawyers?
Because we are the good guys.
About 6 or 7 hours after you got set up and you've been talking this, you find out that the Scrope family have hired both Bansamer and Bailey and Weiss and Terranovan Zoges.
Doesn't matter, we got the best.
They seem to be throwing their money about.
That's all right, we'll throw our money about.
And if they're not careful, we'll throw their daughter about.
Yeah, where the window is.
Blender time! Is your name Blender? No, it's going to be soon.
I wonder, have we got did we have anything? Any little like tracking devices or stuff? As the pirate ships, or can we get hold of any? Maybe we're trying to bugger.
There was a large selection of bugs on the other ship, and you did say you'd taken some.
We'll bug her.
Right.
Can we bugger jewellery? She might change your clothes, but she won't change your jewellery.
You can
That
make
is a good
a sneaky roll. Who's the sneakiest?
Probably not me.
I've only got sneaky 2.
I would
I've
imagine
sneaky one.
Hang on.
our Scottish fellas is quite sneaky.
I'm reasonably sneaky. I could make a sneaky roll if somebody wants me to.
I shall assist.
Just say the word.
I got on them.
And I might chuck a fate point into that. Now, what's it doing? Bloody computer. Come on, you son. There, that's it.
Right, and Dave, were you playing Meg? Or is Meg one of the NPCs?
I don't suppose we have any bugs that are
Meg, aren't I?
injectable.
Yeah. Do you have any bugs that are what?
Injectable.
Possibly not, but we can try.
No, there weren't that kind of bugs. They were like scattered around the starship. So
Just a thought. Because as you quite rightly said, she might change her clothes, but she probably won't change her jewellery, and she certainly won't change her intestines.
Why don't we'll bug it twice. Hopefully make the one that's in the jewellery hard to find, but put one in a clothing, but make it quite easy to find. So she's like, stupid bloody Vargas, thinking they're bugging me. Gets rid of it. Doesn't bother looking anymore.
Good thinking.
Right. So a little while later, there's a knock at the door, and there's two large military-looking guys with a smaller sort of administration-looking guy. They knock on the door. Do you answer the door?
I check the door. If that's not pizza, fuck off.
Like, these are full armed military guys in armor, like automatic weapons. Right, so the admin guy holds up his imperial seal to the door.
Is she not in the legitimate custody of the diplomatic corps of Little Heaven?
I will cleverly approach the door and try to persuade them from trying to break in.
They don't need to kick the door in because he just holds up his imperial sunburst. The door opens as it's an override, as it's an important representative of the moot. There's two. You recognize them as Imperial Marine guys, like overly muscled, short buzz cuts, well armed.
I will
Thick as toe short planks.
use the law to stop them entering a diplomatic vessel.
He says, good. The Imperial Moot has sent over a message, but apparently there was some kind of communications error, and he looks sternly at you and then hands a gold envelope over
I will
with the
keep my hands in my
Imperials.
pocket.
He hands a gold envelope over and says,
No, I'll keep my hands in pockets.
Miss Scrub has to be allowed to be paroled to a self-imposed house arrest.
Say what?
And then
Dance out the road if he's got to touch you with it to serve the summons.
he just drops the envelope. He says,
I'll go, hi.
That doesn't count.
I'll pretend I don't understand his language.
"You're really, really not making yourselves friends down at the Imperial Court, do you know that?"
No, not at all. But I am
They
clever.
started it.
So I will go, hi. Because in my experience, going, hi fixes just about every conversational situation.
Right, so you've been off and you have getting some swanky looking clothes, a dress uniform.
Yes.
Muriel is the actual ambassador, and she has to present her credentials to Cleon at the palace. She has to take an armed escort. That will be you,
That's
people.
me. That's us, yeah.
But
But mostly bracing.
What's the rules on being armed and stuff for this? As we're diplomats, are we allowed to be armed? Or diplomatic
You
This
have
is where
to.
you walk up in the battle mech.
You have to. You have to carry sidearms, which is traditionally cutlasses and a sidearm. But you do not pull the guns out in front of an Imperial noble, as terrible things will happen.
Mm-hmm. Even I know that.
Lit dust.
A protocol officer called Shaki Ben Suzuki calls around and arranges the audience for 30 p.m. in 2 days' time. He says, "May I also recommend a high company, Maurice, Morgan and Pony for the requisite Landau?" And he says, "Make sure you all know how to bow or curtsy. If not, I can show you how to do it."
Of course.
Um,
By the way, did your parents really call you Shaggy?
so, what do you right? What are you planning on doing with Modesty when you're going to go and meet the noble?
Did they tell us we have to bring her?
No, they told you that you had to put her into some sort of house arrest.
She's arrested in our house. Never said
Well-
which house.
Somebody's going to have to stay behind and guard her.
No one just put claymores outside the door.
I'll just put the dog collar on her.
Yeah.
I'll read up on noble
Yeah,
etiquette.
hell, so hard.
He says, "Right, I'll give you some advice. As you travel to the the meeting. You travel through the Imperial Park in a closed armored grav car, flying close to the ground. He says, "Never turn your back on the Emperor. Leave the room walking backwards. Only laugh at his jokes if you think they were funny. He has a repertoire of bad material so he can weed out sycophants. Pick up the saucer in your offhand, balance your biscuit next to it, don't dunk it." And he says, "Give him the present before your credentials." You show him the present, he says, "That's your present." Oh dear.
It's awesome.
I bring out the box of cigars which I said I took. I went, would they be better?
But you had smoked one. So are you giving him a box of cigars that's missing one?
Yeah.
Big cigar time, boys.
But he won't know that. They're just loose in a nice wooden box.
Wow, this is a lot of exposition at this point. The lawyers get in touch and say modesty is definitely waged an illegal war in a sovereign state and subpoenaed the judicial system to do so. She can and should be tried. Despite opposition from the moot, the Imperial Ministries are quite determined she be held to account and will assist the Little Hevel Consulate in any way they can. The professional soldiers working on the artillery piece are dead, but the Stargun battery core still exists and the colony has a claim against its assets. The customs officials who planted the bomb on the loose booty will be tried for murder and sabotage. Commodore Germano would have been charged with conspiracy, but unfortunately he slipped while cleaning his cutlass. The loose booty
Happens.
The loose booty's crew have a solid claim against the Silene System Defense Squadron and possibly even in the cause of action against the Imperial nobles themselves, although it would be tactful not to mention that part. And the ships present problems. Yes, their users were engaged in piracy, but there's another interest: the finance houses who can allege barratry. The mortgage payments are in arrears. These finances, Zanbuber and Bosch and Sherman Realty and Finance, are owned by a selection of investment funds and individual shareholders. Says that will take months to sort out.
What about the information we had from her computer? Does that cut through any of it?
Yes, that counts as. That's why Modesty Scrope is going for a plea deal. So that could be quite bad. You disappear off to the Imperial Palace. There's an entire company of battle dress equipped Imperial Marines in the throne room, carrying high energy weapons and backpacks in full power armor battle dress. They do stand around the back of the room, so they're not directly in the way, but they're very visible that they're there.
I will present the awesome present that I've created and say the most important in life is progeny.
Very well. I think you should give me a flashy roll, Earl, and let's see how well it's taken.
Notice I didn't use the word puppies.
I did. Right. So, he's somewhat taken aback. Cleon is somewhat taken aback. However, he doesn't have you all executed. There's a like the crowd at the Imperial Caucus like that when you present it. But he seems to have just a touch of a smile on his lips. As he seems to get the joke. He seems to be somebody who has a great sense of humor.
Low, and I will give him all the respect he's due, and then more.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, anybody else? You're presented to Cleon, the Duke of this area. So, what would you like to do, or do you just keep your mouth shut, keep your head down?
Do the bow and stuff, and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut for the minute.
I'll curtsy and keep my mouth shut.
Hang on, you as the ambassador will let her do the talk.
I don't want to go to
I will
Right.
keep my "We Are the Good Guys" T-shirt on.
She succinctly and successfully sets the case forward. And even though she sounds like a bit like a bumpkin, she's obviously had some advice because she dots all the I's and crosses all the T's. And Cleonson is very impressed with her and says that he will happily deal with the problems that are outstanding, and it will be dealt with the full power of the law. So after managing not to cause a massive Imperial incident, you return back to the hotel rooms, and you basically wait for a response from the Imperial representatives. However, the next day, there's a strange box arrives by courier.
We'll open that without someone else doing it. If that doesn't work, we'll just pay a local peasant to open it for a few hundred credits.
No, it's quite a large box, about the size of a suitcase. It arrives with your names on. It's delivered by a bellhop. He said it was just delivered to the front desk with details to pass it on straight on to you.
I'll tell the bellhop I'll give him 1,000 credits if he opens it.
He says, well, if you think I should, it's passed through the hotel's high security system. It's a high security hotel. It's been scanned for bombs and bugs and everything like that. Right, so he flips the latches and he sets the combination lock, flips it open, and screws his face up and goes, it looks like somebody spilled some jam in here.
I'll look at the box while I'm giving him 1,000 credits.
Right, his eyes bulge out and he stuffs the 1,000 credits into his pocket. There's some bloody matted fur inside the case, as well as a whole sheaf of papers and manila envelopes.
Does the fur look like it belongs to any one of our... Well, is any of our party missing at the minute or away?
No, you're all there.
Do I recognise the scent from this fur?
Yes, Dave, you are absolutely horrified. You recognise the scent as it's one of your kids. Because Meg, well, your doll has several children.
Uh-oh.
You rifle through the papers, and there are like dossiers on each of you. Benson's corrupt activities as a law enforcer, Lance's cowardice under fire, Morgan's Navy record of assaulting senior officers, which is pretty true, Andy, to be fair. Sheba's past as a political agitator and alleged close connections with terrorists. And it says you have 6 hours to contact the authority, contact the media, tell them that the campaign against Little Heaven was undertaken by a group of Varga terrorists, and then you have to leave the planet and never be seen again.
Oh, okay.
I thought I had my family brought to us.
They're in the city, but they're not in this actual high security hotel.
They made a mistake, boys.
You're telling me?
Well, we have something they want, and they're daring us to use it. But the point is, do you think the thing that they want knows that they're willing to sacrifice it?
Got one thing to say at the group. Kaiser Suzy.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
You've never seen The Usual Suspect?
Yeah, but my character hasn't.
Oh.
So, Dave, your doll goes absolutely berserk, and it's all you can do to keep yourself under control.
Do we have a blender?
you have a space blender because it's all high tech.
Okie doke. Take the parcel down to our new friend and show it to her.
Which new friend are we talking about?
The one that they want. Can't remember her name.
I think we
bird.
should take it to Cleon.
Oh, hell, I
Or
know
at
what
the
you're
very
gonna do.
least, the lawyers.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Right. Well, what would you like to do then?
I'll turn
You've got
around.
5 hours and 58 minutes.
I'll
Well,
go in
I'm
our
all
room
for
and say,
getting older
"Hello,
modesty screw up,
we had a
pulling all
kid."
our hair out and sending it back with the same courier to where the slot came from.
We could do that, or we could just go to the end game. Which
Alternatively, we could always call the media and explain to them how none of the stuff that the people who sent the box that want us to do was actually true, and they're trying to
How
intimidate us.
independent is
Look
the
in the
media?
box.
we need to work out who owns the media, which might take a while.
Get onto our ambassador. Ask him if
Yeah.
we can arrange an emergency interview with Cleon.
He says, right, you get in touch with Suzuki, and he says, what's this regarding? It's very unusual for the Duke to actually allow short notice interviews like this.
Well, I just got a box threatening us to they say it was somebody else's fault, and they've put in a bit of pelt of fur belonging to one of my children. A bloody piece of
Oh
pelt.
my God, he's telling the truth. This might end badly.
He says, oh, and he sounds genuinely concerned. You did seem to get on. He says, I tell you what, give me 5 minutes. And he clicks off the vid phone.
Davey, if they don't come back with us with anything to do within an hour, I'm going to slowly feed her into a blender until she either tells us all her secrets, or she does, or they stop harassing you. Your choice. So I'll start with her face.
Right, 5 minutes pass, and then there's a video call from Mr. Suzuki. He speaks to you, Dave. He says, Meg, I can't get the Duke interested. However, what I can do for you is, because you're official representatives of the sovereign state, I can provide you with surveillance camera footage from the area around from the hotel where your kids were kept. I can provide an emperor's license to bear arms within the city for the next 24 hours, and a warrant to seize and examine data pertinent to the kidnap case.
We should do that. Bracy, go and kill them all.
With pleasure. Also, is it worth trying to get the rest of the families in a protective custody?
Yeah, absolutely. We can arrange that for you. As a sovereign state, we are providing complete armed forces cooperation to you. So we'll send out teams to collect all of the families and put them into a safe area.
Right, get the footage. I'm just looking for a bio, and then
Is
I'll look
it-
through it and see what we can find.
Do you want me to go and help?
What? Have a bio? Wow.
No, I can hold. You know, I'm not ashamed. I'm that kind of guy. If you need a was, I'll hold to help.
I'm just wondering if this Duke Cleon has any close connections to the Scope family.
You've asked around to the lawyers and stuff like that, and the Scrubs are nowhere near influential to get anywhere near Cleon. In general, the imperial nobility, the higher levels of it, are pretty trustworthy.
They've got too much to lose with the lower level ones that aren't to be
Yeah,
trusted.
it's the low-level nobles that tend to be bent as a bag of rusty nails.
Quick wise, BRB.
So you get that sent over. Andy, Davey, since you seem to be bio break free, is there anything you want to do?
I'll examine this video footage. See what if anybody's been kidnapped, who it was, etc., etc.
Okay. Andy, is there anything you're up to?
I'll help Dave. Two pairs of eyes is better than one.
Right. Okay, then give me a. I think you're probably going to be carefully going over this footage, to be fair.
Yeah, I would have said so.
I'll assist them as well.
So,
Careful 3.
Dave, you give a careful roll, and you get a +1 for Andy and a +1 for Bracey.
I'll spend a fate point because I'm serious about this.
Roll him. So that's a 3.
And with the fate points,
So how do you use your fate point? What gives you the advantage in looking for this?
I'm using a special app on the Nokia for face recognition.
You're using a face recognition app on your phone, okay? Right, you jury rigger due to your excellent background of MacGyver and stuff. After about an hour, you find that the satellite systems show masked figures in an unidentified air raft swooping in over a rooftop play area on the hotel. They fire a net gun at the children and pick them up with a hook while they're entangled. The craft flies around the north side of the building, using the shadows to stay out of sight, and disappears.
Is there any way we can try and trace back where it came from, or in future if it's popping out anywhere?
Is there any way that we can get any idea of, the sort of registration number or whatever the equivalent would be of the aircraft? And then can we tap into the city's computers? Because they must have some sort of ANPR type system to find out where the aircraft went then.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Give us A. That'd be a clever roll, that.
Radio.
And Andy's going to be clever about it.
I shall do my best.
Help them.
Oh, he's well
Nice.
clever. So that's a 5, which is pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So you spend another 45 minutes. So you've used an hour and 45 minutes so far. You do manage to find a transponder signal, and you trace it to the Barrow 3 police station, where it pings in as it flies past. It shows an aircraft carrying a netted bundle moving to the construction site for the Cleon Memorial Gravball Stadium. The raft hovers over a big hole, presumably for some footings, and drops its cargo roughly into the darkness before zooming off.
I wonder who could possibly have the construction contract for that stadium. Let me
Yes,
think.
I wonder.
I've returned, sorry.
And should we not possibly get ourselves down there and make mischief?
Yes, I was just going to try and find out if we're now allowed to carry arms. Can we requisition any arms, Rich, or is it basically are we just allowed to carry what we want? If we
No, you're just allowed you're allowed to carry guns. Normally, the law level of this planet wouldn't allow people carrying guns, but you're allowed to carry guns about and shoot people.
Does that include submachine guns loaded with heap ammo?
Yes, it does. Yeah, you've got a proper like diplomatic immunity badge.
I won't misuse. Oh, I will.
Right. Was there any other leads you wanted to try and follow?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we could like jam any signals when we get there in case they've got like a remote detonator.
And I know this is going to sound silly, but why don't we check ourselves for bugs before we go?
Sounds like you're
Did you
going
get what I
Just to
said?
make absolutely sure.
Could do.
So-
in doubt, snoop us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Difficulty of 2 would be enough to find any bugs if there were any.
Right. And what would that be? Clever?
I'm helping.
Yes. Right. You have a good search. Taking another 15 minutes, leading it to 2 hours, and you don't discover any bugs.
Because I wouldn't have put it past somebody.
Right, let's go and get the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. Is that all the leads up that you can think to follow up? Is it?
Well, like I said, we could like see who owns the site. Set up a thing to jam when we get there in case we've got a remote detonator.
Take some remote cameras as well, because once we've got the kids out, I want to leave the cameras there to see who turns up to either do any
Evidence,
dirty
good plan.
deeds or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll make a copy of what we found out and give it to the ambassador as well for safekeeping.
I can't think of anything else, so we need to start looking up for leads though.
You know this box that was delivered?
Yes.
How big is it?
It's about the size of a small suitcase, like a traveling suitcase.
Could we get Miss Scrop in it?
Only if you chopped her up.
Willing.
Damn it.
Well, the box had to be delivered, and you do have a warrant to like basically go, I want to look at your cameras and stuff.
Yeah, let's see who delivered it.
Earl, while they're doing this, so we nip back to the ship and arm up and get a load of weapons and stuff and take it back to team.
I have a warrant to be able to shoot, so I am flying the ship overhead. I've got to use ship lasers to burn
I
down
agree.
entire blocks.
Me and Bracey are going to get all the BFGs.
Right. So, who? Andy and Dave are going searching for the box. So, where are you going to search for this? Are you just going down to the offices downstairs?
Well,
I
we'll
would
start
say the
there,
guy
yeah.
that we gave a load of money to he probably likes us quite a bit.
Yeah. So you go downstairs. Who do you ask? The guy at the front desk.
The security bloke? Want to be like a security office?
Yeah. You go to the security office.
We show them the want to check the camera footage during the time that this box was delivered.
Yeah, you pull your warrant out with a stamped gold Imperial sunburst. He's like, okay. The package is delivered by a courier. You can't make out anything because he's got basically motorcycle leathers and a helmet and things on. But on the canister of his grav bite on the back, it has the the logo of a company called Bike It Courier Deliveries, and he brought the box into the office and dropped it at the front desk.
Probably cut away.
They'd phone them up and ask them if they know who gave them the box to be delivered, showing an imperial warrant or the vid phone.
Right, you show your imperial warrant? He says, I'll just have to check, sir. It takes a few minutes, and you're up to 2 hours, 15 minutes at the moment. He says, a private client brought it in. The only record that we have is a manual signature, which is unusual nowadays. His name is Mackenzie Mousey.
Mickey Mouse. Do you have video surveillance of this person so you can see his face and that?
I believe we do, sir. Yes.
Send us over a copy then.
Okay, I'll do that straight away. He says, like, iron your imperial warrant. God, this could go so horribly wrong. I am using ship lasers to burn down buildings. I've got a warrant.
You are so ahead of what I'm thinking. Because what I was thinking, basically, is one of us goes in the front door and the other one shoots the shit out of the building with the ship if they don't do as they're told. Because,
Right.
That
the
is
camera,
my raison d'etre.
The camera outside the Bike office shows a well-built man in his 50s entering the premises with the parcel, then leaving empty-handed. You do that. Hold on. What's that kind of thing? And you go and zoom in. And he's got some kind of tattoo on the back of his left hand. To your eyes, it looks like some kind of Imperial Marine tattoo.
Right, take a copy of his face and the tattoo. Earl's character was a cop, wasn't he?
He was, yes.
He was.
So you might
So I
recognise
still
the
have-
face and the tattoo.
I'll have a look at the face and tattoo, but if I don't recognise them, I'm going to talk to one of my friends who's still in the department and tell him this guy's a rapist.
Oh, nice thinking. Right, at this point, you're up to 2.5 hours.
When it gets to about 4 hours, me and Brace are just going to go in and start shooting people. So just warn us when that time comes.
Right. He says, bear with us. Benson. It's nice to see you, mate. It's been such a while. I'm sorry to hear about all the stuff that happened.
No worries, but this guy's apparently going round and shagging puppies. So, we need to get on this quick before we can't leave it through the system. It's got to be done.
He gets back to you in 5 minutes. The tattoo is from Marine Special Forces 3rd Lift Company, the Jumping Junkies. The facial recognition comes back as Gunnery Sergeant Levi Kant, 212 Sunburst Street, known associate of Miles Strasser and Theo Chun of 445 Love Lane West.
Thank you. You might want to stop anyone responding to a 911 from that area for like 10 minutes after the call.
Okay.
I will use... persuade others to work while I'm making decisions to make that work, which is one of my aspects.
It is one of your aspects. Go on, give us a roll.
What a roll
on? That would be forceful if you're doing it like...
No, I'm trying to either be sneaky or careful.
Careful? I would go for careful, yeah.
And I remind him that back in the day when we were hunting down that prison drug gang that his cousin was involved with, that, he owes me one, baby.
So that's a 3. He says, right, yes, okay. No problem. But if you remember, you've got Imperial warrants. If you flash the Imperial warrant...
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to get him in trouble because I am actually a nice guy.
It's a warrant to seize and examine data pertinent to the kidnap case. So that is...
All right.
I mean, that's a stretch, You've also got a license to bear arms within the city for 24 hours.
Does it say license to kill? I'm Bond! Reggie, get your gun!
Basildon Bond, yeah.
Fuck Bond!
I find a policeman. Okay. I then walk up the policeman and go, hey, look at this. You're showing the warrant. Yeah. I shoot a civilian in the head next to him.
Right,
Just to see what happens. No, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Davey,
You're the good guys, remember?
we're going to go and shoot some people, but if that doesn't work, we're going to talk to them. So you can either come and help us, or you can.
Oh, I'm coming.
Well, you're at the ship and you've got an air raft in the ship, so
We
you
will
can grab
jump
an
in the
air raft.
Bracy, drive us to the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't we still got an LMG and plenty of ammunition knocking about from somewhere?
It was a VRF Gauss gun.
Wait a minute.
You could have brought a VRF Gauss gun if you wanted, but it's kind of outside of the scope of an Imperial warrant to bear arms.
Can I just say something?
It's
You
arms,
know
isn't
this
it?
ship has diplomatic immunity, and we have a right to bear arms. Could we fly the ship over the target, and then me and the guys go in and have a chat, and if that doesn't work, accidentally misfire the weapon?
I do love your thinking. However, no, because you don't have a license to fly the ship into civilian air.
Yes, but human resources, my other aspect, tells me that in an extreme situation, planetary weapons can be used in self-defense.
No, in the Imperium, they absolutely cannot.
Absolutely.
What time of day is it at the minute, Rich?
What type of day is it? It's
Time of day.
Time of day. You have used up 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it is about 3 o'clock.
Is
Start
it
shooting
still light? Is it going to go dark soon or what?
You've still got a few hours of light yet.
We could always take one of the warheads off one of the ship's missiles, put it in the back of the air raft, and if we need to, use it as a bomb and drop it from the air raft.
Okay.
That would probably kill some civilians, but I'm up with that.
Hang on, I'm
They
just
started it.
Emperor's license to bear arms within the city. I'm not sure that, like, you know,
They're not.
explosive warheads are covered under that, but
Who started this?
right. So you get the air raft. You may or may not take a warhead from a missile with you,
How
whatever.
will it take?
And you pick Andy and Dave up, and then where do you head?
To the guys who.
No, we want to go get the kids first.
No, we should check these guys out because obviously there's a good chance that the kid's actually there with them.
Sunburst Street. You head over to Sunburst Street. It's a little run down, but it is secure. Number 212 is a flat. Is one of those big multi-flat buildings.
Did you say this bloke's name was Kant, or did I mishear?
No, it's Levi Kant.
Not what I would call him, but it's close.
It is close.
David, can you find out what he's been ordering from takeaways recently?
Yeah, I could, check the system.
Just hack, just eat.
Aye.
I would always put the air raft in through his living room window.
I love the way it's just like, well, hack this. It's like you've just got this warrant. You just tell me everything, bitch. No, well, just hack pizza.
No,
Pizza
well,
Hut.
I'll feel just 8 children that want who's ordered what from this address.
He says, there's a Mr. Kant ordered a stack of pizzas and a case of Loopy Brew Premium Lager to an address on the abandoned housing lot on the south side of town.
So that's maybe where he's holding up.
Is he eating chicken nuggets? Because all children just live on chicken nuggets, in my experience.
No, it's pepperoni pizzas and a stack of pies. It doesn't specify what kind of pies, so I'm quite worried. But it's basically It's a abandoned house on the south side of town.
Right, we'll go there then.
In a rough neighborhood.
It's got to be even fucking rougher when we after we've left.
I was just going to say that, Dave.
Rough.
It's time for some wolf justice.
Right. So you arrive. It's abandoned 2-story house in a dilapidated part of town. Just your average little American house with a small overgrown garden around it. What would you like to do?
Kill him.
Well, I like Davey's plan of driving the aircraft in through the front window.
That was Andy's plan, but you can certainly try the aircraft in through the window.
What state of repair does the roof look like?
Pretty bad, but it's missing tiles and things like that. But it does look like it's mostly intact.
Would it take the weight of an air raft?
Probably not. No.
Jolly good.
Can I just take the point to say that I absolutely love this group?
Drop me and Earl off.
I really just want that. I need to go right.
Oh yeah, I'm probably going to use
everybody in the air. People go flying in all directions. Dave ends up impaled on a fence post, that kind of thing.
Yes. And we'll do a bit of recon, see if we can see anything or anyone.
Right.
And then we'll let us know. Because it could be either really good or really bad. If he's ex special forces and he's got one of his mates there, they'll probably have all sorts of stuff set up. If they're just, if they've got a few gangbangers in there, they're probably just inside getting pissed and stuff. But we need to have a look first.
It's really clever. When did he order last?
Right. So are you going to scout around the outside of the house, or are you crashing into the window? What? Come on.
I'll have a scout first.
They're going to scout first, and then I'm just going to pile in through the roof.
Right. So when you scout,
what time the guy ordered last? Because we can do the knock, 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 hello, bad karma pizza line.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Is there any pattern to like how often they're ordering?
No, it was just a one-off order.
Shite.
And there was a lot of pizzas for like one guy.
And when was it we ordered?
That was about 4 hours ago.
And did he order alcoholic drinks as well?
Yes. He ordered a case of Loopy Brew Premium Lager.
I think we should go through the fucking window because they're going to be fucking pissed.
I vote for Davy's plan.
Right. So, okay. I'm okay with this. Let's just go. Are you scouting or are you just...
We'll scout first, and then you can go in through the roof, and then me and Earl will do a ground assault on the bottom floor. Because they're about to go running halfway up the stairs to find out what the hell's going on, and then we'll wink, wink, take it from behind.
Right.
Right. So when you say scouting, are you going around the bottom floor? Are you trying to break in the house, or?
I'm gonna from a good 30, 40 meters away, hidden. Observe the house for a couple of minutes on one of the sides of the back, wherever I am.
Right,
see if I can see anybody. Is anybody walking the perimeter? Is anybody standing at the door?
Right. There's nobody walking the perimeter. The house seems abandoned and boarded up. You do notice that the windows and the doors seem to be, although it looks as if they've been just abandoned, they are, so you can't see through them. So like rubbish blocks one window, the raggy curtains are drawn on another window. There's no sound, and there's nobody comes near this section of the.
Does aircraft have sensor? Can do a sensor scan of the house?
They have basic sensors, but it's generally just basic avionics, Dave.
Oh well. I knew we should have
Unless
bought the
Lucky
ship.
is a better quality model.
The hunter's aircraft, that'll infrared and thing on for tracking down animals, but not the basic aircraft. It's just got avionics and a basic computer.
Dum 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 dum.
I'm not saying anybody crashing aircrafts into the front there.
Well,
Bracey hasn't seen anything, although it does look like the building has been carefully arranged that you can't see inside it, but it's disguised enough to still look abandoned.
I think we should go in now then.
Just give me the word, and I'll drop the aircraft in through the roof.
Word.
Right, so Bracey's on the floor scouting, and you and Davey are in the aircraft, hovering above it.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Dave says, "Do it now." Andy turns off the anti-grav, presumably, and goes crashing in through the roof.
Yep.
Right. There's a ear-shattering crash as Andy plummets into the front of the house. Into the roof of the house. Can you please give me a quick listen, Andy? Because you crash into the roof of the house, you see the last second that there's 3 guys in this room, and this Meg's 3 children were all tied up together in the centre of the room, and the aircraft is plummeting towards them. This would be great if you rolled all negatives and landed the aircraft on top of Dave's kids. This would be fabulous.
Hit hover.
Can I spend a force point?
A force point.
Be careful.
So can I have a quickness roll, Andy? So you can avoid
you
squashing
can.
these children.
I will try to help him from a
since I've
distance,
glimpsed
screaming,
this,
"Be
what I'm
careful,
going to
there might be
try and do
hostages."
is swing the aircraft round so I can clip these 3 guys with the back end of it and miss the kids.
Right, okay.
And my quickness is not wonderfully brilliant, so I may be prepared to spend a fate point here.
This would be great.
In fact, I will.
Right.
I will spend
Andy goes, "Oh shit," as he crashes in through the roof. It's a terrible roll. The guys are obviously extremely proficient, as they work for. They used to work for the Marine Special Forces. They roll out of the way, but the aircraft plummets dangerously close towards the kit. This is great. I love it. So what
You say that's what I want to use my fate point for.
So what are you going to use?
is to use the fate points to catch a glimpse of them, and as they dive in for cover, to swing the aircraft round sort of 360, miss the kids, but sort of use the back wing and clip these 3 blokes.
Huh.
And I either squash them up against the walls or knock them through the windows or whatever.
Right. Well, I'll let you use the +2 for the because of your driving skills. So that gives you a +1.
Can I help them?
Right, that's a +1 from the first guy, and I'm going to spend a fate point because of his combat training, making that 3. So he manages to dive out of the way without being killed. The second one gets a.
I'm not necessarily trying to kill them. I'm just trying to sort of incapacitate them so we can arrest them.
Right, the second guy, who's a blonde-haired guy, only gets a 0. Of which I will do a reroll because he sucks. Because I want to hurt some people now. Right, so you crash you spin around. The first guy rolls out of the way, but it does that comedy thing where he dives out of the way, thus revealing the back end to the other guy who gets it square in the chest and is knocked flying backwards into the wall where he crumples against the wall.
Champion.
And the third guy, who appears to be Oriental, also manages to dodge out of the way. Right, so you've knocked one thing out of the way. You managed to miss Dave's kids. The air raft, however, because you've spun out of the way, crashes into the floor, throwing the pair of you prone, and there's a pff as the airbag goes off, and sort of like the
Do
airbag
we hear this
flaps
crash
it in the
which
face.
screams, go, go, go to us?
You hear it. Well, you see the air raft plummet through the roof as Andy turns the engines off.
Right, me and Bracey are going
Yeah, bolt for the door.
straight through the door, shoulder it down, and rush straight up the stairs or into the front room and start shooting. No questions asked, no messing about. People have to die.
It's full of nuns.
Right,
Keep
let's-
finger on the trigger.
Let's draw some cards. Oh, I get a Queen of Hearts, babies. I'll take that Queen of Hearts. Thank you very much.
How do I get the next one? Draw.
Right. Yeah, so you basically do it one at a time. So so you click on the top card, that's it. And then you can drag it to the tracker, or if you miss, just drag it above your head.
I drew one card, nothing happened. I keep doing draw one and nothing happens.
Yeah, you click draw card. You got six of diamonds, but I can't add that.
God
to the
knows
tracker.
what happened there.
Invisible. Rich, you can't.
Yeah.
Invincible.
Oh, stop drawing cards. You're drawing them into your hand. Right. So this is why we were practiced earlier on. So mouse over the deck. The top card will slide up. Click on the little bit that says click to draw. But one person at a time. So Andy.
Right, hang on. Yeah, click the draw.
Yeah, and it'll spin round. Then you can drag that card straight from there to the tracker.
Right, and whereabouts on the tracker do I put it?
On your name, Andy.
Right. Well, I've done that, and I don't.
Right,
it hasn't done anything.
You missed, but it's fine. We'll just stick the card above your head.
Right.
Right, Bracey. So draw a card. This was supposed to be fast and exciting, but no,
We broke it.
we broke it. Never mind.
It's not like we do that usually.
Right, so leave that above Andy's head because that's Andy's heart.
Oh, all right. Oh, I say. Yes, it's all right. It's all right. My mistake. I thought you meant me little
So-
bloke.
Who's drawing next?
Davey.
Right, I'll just drag the card onto the thingy above you.
I can't see it.
Oh, for God's sake, hey, Dave. There.
Oh,
Dave's
wait,
got the king of clubs.
king and it went away.
Right,
So I
so
hit
Bracey,
the
do you know how to do it? This is why we practiced it earlier, people.
Yeah. Well, I did draw one out, but I don't know.
Yay! I got a card.
Right, so Davey has dragged his card under his character for some bloody reason.
Yeah, but
Bracey, have you drawn a card yet?
Yeah. Five
So where
o'clock.
is it?
I've got
You've
the
got the
five.
5, right? We'll
Oh,
put it
right.
above your character.
Is it my goal?
No, you've drawn 2 cards, Earl.
Oh,
Yeah, my count is in the middle.
I can't see any of this, Rich. You've gone mad.
You've broke everything, man. You've broke it.
I'm
You've got
on
a 6 of
Jack
diamonds.
Oh, 6 down. I can't even see that.
Right, and Dave, have you drawn?
Yeah, I got the king of clubs.
Oh yeah, that's right. So it goes King of Clubs. So Dave goes first, right? Right. If you stop moving the cards around and just put them next to your dudes, then we know where they are.
Yeah.
I don't have a
That's
card.
my dude.
Right.
Excellent. I'll put that jack up by where my little bloke is.
This is
There.
going to be so awesome, and it's just this is what happens when players get involved with anything at all.
No plan succeeds.
I know,
when it makes
We're
contact
terrible, aren't we,
with the
players?
enemy.
Right. So both of the airbags go off in the air raft. space airbags, in fact, they go, and they knock you back into your chair. Dave, you get to go first. Presumably, you had the seatbelt on. Is that correct? But
Yes.
you get to go
Yeah.
first. There's one guy being knocked back against the wall by Andy's dodgy driving, and he's slumped against the wall. You're not sure if he's unconscious or dead. There's two guys that dived out of the way. They're wearing like cloth body armor, and they have very deadly looking machine pistols and combat knives.
Right, I hit the quick release on my seat belt and roll out with the air raft. And
Okay.
pull my machine pistol out to shoot whichever bad guy I can.
Right. So Dave lets out a brrp noise as go ahead. You get a +2 quickness for your first roll of a combat. And I get, oh wow, okay.
Oh,
Ain't no fair point in the world going to save that. Dave rolls +3s and then gets another +2 for 8. Right. So you which one do you do? Do you do the Oriental looking guy or the guy with the buzz cut, who was the one that ordered the pizza?
The one nearest my kids.
Right. So the Oriental guy. So Dave sprays him literally up the wall. He staggers backwards. Bullets pumping through his body. He empties a full clip into him. There's a crash, Earl, as somebody comes flying backwards out of the window, spraying blood everywhere, plummets down, and then lands next to you with a sickening thud.
In the voice of Alexi Sale, I will shout, "Open up, it's the pigs."
Right, next up we have me. Right, seeing this, the other guy with his machine pistol attempts to shoot Davey in the face. So that is a 3. What do you want to do, Dave?
I'm going to quickly dodge out the way.
Right, so Dave throws himself flat, or attempts to. He rolls a 3. I am going to use a fate point because Dave and Andy were still stunned off being crashed out of the air raft and having the thing blown in their face. So he's still a bit dazed. So I will use that to get a +2, giving me a 5 against your 3, Dave.
Can I spend a fate point then as well?
Yeah, you can spend a fate point, but like I said, I'm justifying it by saying you're a bit shaken. So there's an aspect now which is shaken due to being in a crashing air raft. So you can spend a fate point. You can't just go out and spend a fate point. You go, all right, well, because of this.
Well,
Because
because
I've
of my
crashed loads
being
of shit
shaken,
before.
I slip and hit the floor.
Right, so that makes it an even, and I have no more fate points. Sadly, otherwise I would find something else to spend them on. Right, so the bullets rake along the side of the air raft, but at the last second, it sort of just misses George as the bullets stitch along the side of the air raft, and he rolls underneath it because it sort of curves in underneath. Right, next up we have... because you picked have got them all over the place. Right, Dave. Andy on the jack.
right. I'll hit the quick release on me seatbelt, but I'm staying in the air raft, and I'm just going to hang my SMJ over the side and loose off a full clip in the general direction of that bloke. By which I mean I'm sort of aiming in his general direction, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Right.
It's like, we need him alive, sort of.
And I'm out of damn fate points for this.
Yeah, this is going to go off
Scene.
quickness, doesn't it?
If you get it off a quick, it's normally forceful for guns or quickness if you're taking a quick shot.
We'll go forceful. It makes no difference whatsoever.
Right, I get a 3. So as he's fired, he's dived behind a rickety old settee. So if you want to leave it like that, or you can spend a fate point, use one of your aspects.
Hang on.
I can't spend a fate point, so I'm stuck. However, I get fate points back every turn.
Wait a minute.
Kill him. Kill him with your mind
Spend the
bullet.
fear point and hit him, take his knees out.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you. What I was thinking was, if this is an old rickety sofa in an abandoned house, there's bound to be bits of it, like where the springs and the stuffing have sort of come away from the inside, and all you can see is the cloth on the outside. And neither of us realizes that there's pretty much a hole all the way through. And in certain places, there's just like the front and the back fabric and out the middle.
Yes.
So I'm going to use my fate point to just, by luck more than anything else, to put some of my bullets straight through that bit that he is hiding behind.
Right, so that gives you a 5v3. So that's 2 shifts. So what do you do? Do you kill him outright? Do you wound him and take him out?
I was hoping for rather badly wounded, so he might possibly drop his gun.
Yeah,
And
you
then
can go for that.
And then Bracey and I can let on him before he recovers.
Yeah, so you shoot him and your bullets stitched across his one side of his chest and his arm. He drops the gun and there's no more sound of movement as he passes out. Possibly dying, but he's not dead, he's just taken out. Right, so
rescue the kiddies.
Yeah.
Next up we have Earl on 6 diamonds.
Anyone left alive?
He's behind the sofa.
You use a rush to the front door, you need to roll to you need to roll a force to smash this front door in. And you can't cleverly smash the front door in, Earl.
I can. I would kick it at the hinge. I'll forcefully throw myself at the door. In fact, I will throw myself at the door while letting Bracey swing me towards it and using a fate point increase that by 2.
Right, with a great crack, the door smashes off its hinge. Earl, you break through into sort of a front living room area with a set of stairs that leads up to the roof.
Charge up the stairs.
You charge up the stairs. There is nobody left standing. There's nobody downstairs. But you didn't check the kitchen. You just charged straight up the stairs. You see an air raft, the hole in the roof, an air raft semi-embedded in the floor, and the window smashed out where that guy came plummeting out, and some maybe dead but quite bloodied people lying around the room.
I'll stick my gun in the back of the head of one of the people who are lying on the floor looking a bit puzzled and go, "Hey."
Well, Andy, so the guy that you hit with the air raft, is he dead or is he just downed?
Well, downed and incapacitated.
With several broken bones after being clattered by an air raft.
I smashed legs.
Yeah. If I see Earl in the doorway, I'll shout over the bloke we want. The bloke we want is behind the sofa.
Ooh.
And we want him alive.
Oh.
Right.
I'll turn around and go, you do realise Bracey's next, right?
The kids yip happily to see you, Dave. One of them has a chunk of fur cut out of it, but it's not seriously hurt. As you rush over and you bury your face in their fur and cut them free. You've got one guy who's been with several broken bones, like broken ribs, broken arm, broken leg, where he's been hit by an air raft. The floor starts to creak a bit, Andy. And there's the guy full of bullet holes who's lying behind a settee with a surprised look on his face.
I'll start the engine, but only enough to just raise it just slightly off the floor to stop it crashing down into the ground floor.
Rich, can I look around cleverly and see who looks like the most leadery person?
He's behind the sofa.
I'll get the
Yeah.
kids. I'll put the kids into the air raft.
Right, Dave bustles the kids into the air raft, and he turns the gravity on so that it doesn't fall through the floor.
Good plan, Stan.
And you drag the bloody and unconscious bloke who's full of bullet holes from behind the settee.
I will pull my med pack open, take out my sniffing salts, and stick one of the sniffing salts up his hooter.
Right, he coughs up blood and spits it out as the smelling salts wake him up.
I'll turn around and say, "Hello, mate. You're about to die. Now we can actually stop that happening, but you're going to have to cooperate. You've got one choice." And I'll wait for a response.
Make sure he doesn't go for any hidden knives or anything if he's like special forces.
His knife is not hidden; it's a big like combat knife. He's got strapped to his thigh.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he might have he might have a little hidden one as well. So
No, I'll
He
let him go
says
for it if he wants
they're
to.
not paying me enough for this. He says, "I'll tell you whatever I can."
Will you turn Emperor's evidence?
Yes, he says.
I will get the
He says-
medkit out and start treating him.
He says, "We got paid by the scropes. They wanted you dealt with."
Right, I will keep him alive, drag him into the and him and any others alive into the air car, and we better head to the courthouse to present this evidence to the guy in charge. And we will be very respectful, but let's face it, I have given him a giant dog penis, so he should like us.
So you're heading to the Imperial Palace with them?
Yeah.
Right. So, right. So are you bundling everybody into the air raft? The kids,
Yeah.
the prisoners?
Yeah, I'll get in contact with our ambassador. Say we've got the kids. What do you think we should do next? We've got a couple of prisoners.
Are you talking about Suzuki? Are you talking about
To our ambassador.
Muriel?
Yeah.
Muriel's the ambassador for Little Heaven. Suzuki's the ambassador to Duke Leon, who is the guy who gave you the info.
I tell
if
Muriel.
we're heading to the palace, I think we need to speak with bloody Suzuki.
Well, I'll speak to Muriel. One of you speak to Suzuki.
Right. So, what do you tell them? You've retrieved the kids, and you've got
We've
Two
got
prisoners.
the people who were holding the kids prisoner, and they're willing to turn Emperor's evidence.
Are you sure it's a good idea?
Yeah, it is, because what we will do is we will never leave their side. And if anyone tries to make us, we will scream dip like
Yeah.
and
What happens if
shoot them.
and start shooting.
Yeah, what happens if somebody's, if he's happens to turn out to be a traitor, or somebody who's close by him finds out, and all they're going to do is shoot down the air raft, everybody's dead. Evidence
Oh,
good.
right. Oh, sorry. In that case, we will be like, we have important information for the trial. Under I will use my knowledge of human
Diplomatic
resources.
immunity.
Of human resources to use the correct rules that will allow us to bypass the shenanigans to get straight to the guy in charge to tell him what shit's going down.
Right. So you're talking to Suzuki, yeah? And
Yeah.
Dave's talking to Muriel. Right. Suzuki says, right, well, come straight to the palace. And I've had the 3rd Marine Commando ready to go in. We've been waiting to hear from you. You know that these are the absolute crack unit of Imperial Marines. So just come straight to us, and then I guarantee your safety. on anything short of a black strike.
We should
A
do
black
that.
strike is Imperial slang for a nuclear warhead.
We should do that, but at the same time, I'll turn around to Breeze and say, if anyone twitches, shoot them in the face.
I think we should leave that missile warhead behind.
Yeah, maybe we should just drop that over the side.
Yeah, and the bastards had a missile warhead in the house as well. And the guy's like, we did what? We're like, shut up, you. Right, so Dave, Muriel says, oh, I'm so pleased you got the kids back, but it's terrible, you've got to get them to hospital or something. The poor he takes, they need looking after, they do.
Well, Suzuki says we'd take we go to the Imperial Duke.
Well, the Imperial Palace is going to be about as safe as it ever gets.
That's a good point.
And the
Few
Marines will
meters
have
there.
good medics.
And there is the point that there's a certain point where they will stop protecting their own and start realizing that their own overstep the mark and putting them in danger, which means they get their head put in a microwave and popped in the nicest possible way.
Right. Okay. So do you indeed head to the Imperial Palace, or do you head to somewhere else? Because I am now confused as to where you're going.
I am. As
I do have this vision of Earl and Brissy manhandling a ship warhead out of the IRAF, which then crashes through the damaged roof of the building. Crashes through to the bottom floor. You look at each other, shrug, and then the IRAF pulls off.
I'll turn around and Breeze and go, it's all Richie's fault.
Yeah. You did stop the timer, didn't you, Earl?
Timer?
Yeah, you know, when we set the timer for like 5 minutes. Whoops. Only joking.
Right, Andy, where are you taking these mad people? Because I don't know anymore.
Wow. Andy, you're in charge.
I think we're going to the palace.
You go to the palace. Right, you land at one of the landing ports at the palace. Suzuki's there. Indeed, the 3rd Imperial Commando are there, real tough honchos. They are in full battle dress, power armor, PGMPs, the whole works. They set up a defensive cordon around the aircraft. There are some nurses there as well that come in and take the kids away. They try to cling on to you, but you're like, it's okay to go with them. There's doctors and more security personnel. They dispatched 2 of the Imperial Marines to go with the kids to guard them, like in their full battle dress. And then what do you do? Suzuki comes running up to meet you.
I'll greet the guys in battle dress because terrified.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrifying. They're like the elite killing machines of the Imperium.
What guns are they carrying?
They're carrying PGMPs, which is plasma gunman portable. They've got a great big backpack. It's basically an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on the back with a plasma launching device on the front.
I'll
really
turn around
bad.
and say, if you took 40mm self-exploding bolt rounds, you'd probably be more terrifying. Just saying. Sorry, 40 kilos. Okay, we will entrust ourselves to them.
Well, shall we tell Suzuki that the guys want to turn evidence, or?
Yeah, and we just stick with them, and if anyone tries to screw us, we start shooting. Apart from the guys in battle armor, because
yes, even I'm not shooting anywhere near them.
Yeah, you don't mess with them. You don't mess with them badasses. Right, so you're taken away into an office and provided with anything that you need. You drag the bloody bodies with you, and there's 4 Imperial Marines come along with Suzuki just to make sure everything is up and above board. And you tell them, you give them all the information, and he says, "All right, the 2 kidnappers turned state evidence, and they're recorded with an Imperial thumbprint. Suzuki uses his thing so that is permanently entered into
Hello, every people.
the Imperial records. Is there anything else you want to do?
We will be good.
You won't try and break anything.
No.
No, we will behave ourselves, and Morgan wanted everyone to know he said hi.
Oh,
Of course, we're the good guys.
We
Hi,
are the
Morgan.
good guys.
are we? Yes, sorry, we are.
Yeah, for once, you're actually the good guys. Right. So, all this goes through. You spend the next several days providing evidence and attending functionaries. And everything's great. You've won the right. It's some days since the horrors of the kidnapping and the troubles died down, both locally and in the Varga Quarter. The Little Heaven Consular is enjoying a honeymoon with the media as the plucky little colony stand up to invasion. There's a great demand for invitations to your inaugural party. No one from the Imperial family can make it, but it's a respectable B-list event. Nonetheless, Muriel has booked the whole suite and ordered a buffet, chauffrod of hammermore, deviled hoglet, lentil surprise. The big surprise is it's lentils. Great pyramids of sun truffles, fresh fruits, cheeses, pastries, bread, all washed down with a cheeky cane Riesling or a freshly squeezed honey gourd juice. They will be dancing to Hammond and Moog's big band. Suzuki arrives early with his wife and 2 daughters, and he smiles winningly and says, "This is just to make sure you don't commit any more faux pas at the Imperial Court."
But my present was amazing. He will have many children, most of them maybe for a bitch.
He says, "I do not know how you were not immediately incinerated in plasma fire, but for some reason he found it slightly amusing." He's got a great
We
sense
are
of humour.
genuinely lovely people.
He says, "Yes, I'd say that." The Scrubs have been indicted, and
If you want, we can help carpet bomb their world.
the rooms slowly fill up with nobles, hangers-on, and celebrities. There's like the social media girl who's like, "Can I have a selfie with you people, please?"
Yes, but all of the celebrities who are in like murder mysteries, I want to know what their latest episode was like, so I can be like to my girlfriend, "Hey dudes, hey babe, I reckon that such and such did it."
Naturally, most of them being nobles have actually got sidearms, and everybody's wearing a fancy cutlass. For some reason, the Traveller universe loves their cutlass. Everybody's got a cutlass.
It's not normal.
I don't have a cutlass.
No, just a
I have
couple of forks.
sharpened ruler
It's cutlery.
and a fork of each
There's
sleeve.
so much cutlery.
No.
There's silver cutlery, and Ernesto and Muriel are all dressed up, beautiful diplomatic gear. Even though they've got their West Country accents, she's like, "Hey, yeah, we're the representatives of Little Heaven."
Well, I'll turn round to one of the higher ups and say, a lot of political capital could be made by someone who embraced a lower class colony like this. They would be seen as a very politically upright citizen who thinks for the person of a lower bracket than them. Probably get them a lot of political capital as being a champion of the poor and oppressed.
And the Vargas.
Them as well.
Yes. There's a special appearance by Tri-D star Vegas Johnson, who's a little bit edgy and wears lots of glitter. And everybody has a wonderful time, and it looks like Little Heaven is going to be all right. And then at midnight, there's a great explosion as the back door explodes. Please draw a card, and I get a 7.
think
Right.
you're going to have to ask us in order.
Sean, draw a card. Yes, because otherwise it'll just end up a massive clusterfuck. Just draw the card, drop it next to you, dude.
Sean,
Bracey?
I've done Jack of Spades.
Sean Brace. Earl.
what? We can't do two Seans. My brain can't cope with it.
That's why I call him Bracey. I think everybody
You
else
should
calls him
always call
Sean.
him Bracey. No, keep calling him Bracey. My brain
Right.
cannot cope.
Pull a card.
Who? Me.
Yes. Earl, draw a card.
How many are draw? Just one.
Mouse over. Move up to where it says click to draw, and then left click. And it'll spin round. You can do it.
No, draw a card.
Draw a card.
No. Put your mouse over, the card will pop up, then put your mouse on the card that's popped up.
That didn't work, did it?
No, because you've drawn it in your hand again. It's all right. I'll steal it. Don't worry. Right, Andy, draw a card.
What
We're
did
gonna
I
have
get?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm upset.
I can't say.
I'm gonna cry.
And I get forfeit points because it's a new scene. The final scene. When shit gets real.
It's going to be the brass bloody cracking again, isn't it?
I can't even click on Earl's card to see what he's drew. Earl, if you look above your head, I should be able to click on it and go stale.
Is there anything above my head?
Yeah, I've got a card. I'll just draw another card for you, Earl.
Anything, thank you. Because
3 diamonds, because you're rubbish.
Oh, you're crap.
Right, so Andy, you've got 10 Earth. And Davey, finally, please.
Draw a better card.
Well, tell your dad he shouldn't break it.
I've already told him.
Have you got a card, Dave?
He
No,
doesn't
something.
listen.
Right. You mouse over it, the card slides up, you click on the bit that slid up with the left mouse button. That's all you do. There you go.
It
Then
seems a
drag
bit
that
rough.
card above your head. There, I'll move it for you. That's all you have to do is drag it in front of you. Right. Okay. So much for fast-paced action. God help us if we ever played Savage Worlds. Right. So, right. There's a great explosion from the back of the room. Dust floods into the main party room. Since most of the people are ex-military, a lot of them draw their handguns and throw themselves behind cover. You didn't think to have weapons on you, but you are in the place where they're stored in the secure safe in the corner. So, Andy, you're up first.
I thought we were in our diplomatic uniforms.
You are.
Well,
You're in a
surely
party
we
in your.
Yeah, but surely we would have our sidearms with us then, if that's part of the uniform.
Or cutlasses,
All right.
at least.
Fair enough. Yeah, no problem. You've got your little Magnum revolvers.
I'll draw me sidearm and dive behind cover. And if I need to kick some guests out from behind cover to make room for me, I will.
Get out of the way. This is my cover.
You know, my sidearm is a submachine gun loaded with tape, don't you?
Can we see anything in the smoke?
You can't see anything currently. Tables get thrown over, chairs get thrown. And you basically hear bursts of automatic fire go flying into the room. I am going to roll. There's
Can
a
I
lot of
start
screaming
screaming?
goes on.
Can I start screaming assassin into my general transmission communicator.
You certainly can.
Assassin!
Morgan wants to play.
Right, Bracey, you're not in cover, so there's a automatic fire rakes into the room. That's a 0. Can you roll your quick, please? Right, you are not hit by bullets. Dave, can you please? Oh, you have a 4 to beat, Dave.
I spend a fate point then.
You don't have to spend a fate point until after you've rolled.
Okay.
You can roll first and then spend a fate point if needed.
It's a flesh wound.
Are you spending a fate point?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so you avoid being hit by a bullet. And finally, Earl.
I will lean forward, pull out
You
my... Sorry.
You have a 3 to beat because the whole room has been sprayed. Some of the guests go down in bloody haze.
I will leap to the defense of whoever the highest ranking person in the room is.
You can see a lot of guys with suits speaking into their sleeves. They're the ones.
I will leap past them and leap to the person they're protecting and cleverly jump in front of a bullet if I have to.
Right, just roll your quick for firstness. Right, you're going to take a bullet unless you want to spend a fate point.
I haven't got any left.
Oh, he's got none left. Right, well, it's only
I'll
1
take
point.
a fate if I have to.
So it's a consequence. So, well, not a consequence, but you can take the 1 point.
I'll take the 1 point in my hip that's just recovered.
Oh, I've just fixed that hip. God damn it. Right. Okay. Next up, we have.
But I will try to be as evident as possible using flashy that I've just saved someone important's life.
Right, hang on. Earl's got 3. You got 3 diamonds? Dave got 3 spades. Bracy got the jack of clubs.
Yep.
Right. Right. Bracy usually gone before Andy, but never mind. Right. So what do you do now? Automatic fire sprays into the room. There's a hiss of gas grenades going off, and there is everybody is pulling out guns. The bodyguards are pulling out guns, and they start firing back towards the back of the room where there's been a large hole blasted in the back of the room.
So where's the Marines and the combat armor then?
Like I said, Dave, nobody from the Imperial family can make it, but it's a respectable bay list. So the Marines and the combat armor did not come up because they're guarding high risk targets. You should have listened to everything I say, every little word. Right, Bracy, what you do? You're in a firefight.
Right, I'm diving for cover and I'm whipping out my gun. And have the attackers thrown gas grenades in towards us, or
They've thrown them into the room. They're not specifically targeting you. They've just sprayed the room. A lot of people went down, and I was just running an attack against each person, except Andy, who managed to dive under cover.
Well, we won't have any respirators or anything like that. But can I grab as I dive into cover from the trestle table a handful of napkins and put them over my nose?
Yes.
So at least filter some of the gas.
Right.
And I will draw bead at the closest bit where they're probably going to make entries through the wall.
Right. Okay. The grenades bounce in, gas goes off, and you see vague shapes moving about in the gas, moving through the back.
I carefully take it and loose off around.
Right. Okay. Go on. Give us a roll.
4, 5, 6, 7.
7 against my 1. Right. You in fact, you take aim, you pull the trigger twice, and you drop 2 guys that are coming in through. You can see they're carrying, they're wearing some kind of armor, but you can't make the details out, and it looks like they're carrying automatic shotguns, which in this packed room full of nobles is going to make a mess.
Yeah.
Suzuki's there with his daughters and his bodyguards, and they're pulling out like real fancy high-tech automatic weapons. They've dived on top of the girls and pushed them to the ground. Right. Okie dokie. So, next up, I made a right mess of that. Right. This is taken out 2. Then we've got Davey next.
I should give a 3-round burst into one of these bad guys coming towards us.
Okay, go ahead, give it a roll. All right, Dave pops up and doesn't hit because of the smoke. The bullets crash into the wall behind them and nothing happens. Next up we have Earl.
I will assist Brady with his killing spree.
You assist Bracey with his killing spree. Go on then.
I would cleverly put fire into the areas that Brace is concentrating to keep people's head down. So basically, I'm suppressing to help Bracey out.
Right. You fire over Bracey's head, and another figure slumps to the floor.
Kill 'em all!
Yes, indeed. I'm just going to do this. Right. So, me, 2 diamonds. Because you obviously can't work out to draw a card. Oh, Bracey gets a joker.
We played Joker by the.
Earl gets a king. Andy gets a 9 hearts. Dave gets a 2 hearts. Right. You all get a fair point, so take a fair point. Bracey pull the joker. Bracey, you can go literally at any time during the round.
Mm-hmm.
You can interrupt me, you can interrupt yourself, you can interrupt everybody. Right. So, first up, we have Earl with King of Spades.
Sorry, I was just setting up Alexa to play the Glenn Miller Band. I will shoot force. I will leap past Bracey and flashily throw a spoon through the air and try and knock one of them skew whiff.
Right. Okay then. Right. Rolls a 4. I get a 2. Are you using? You didn't take your fair point, Earl?
I know, but I've used them all.
No, you
Yep.
got another one?
Bracey pulled the joker. Everybody gets one.
I will use Cutlery Killer.
Oh, so you've just used Cutlery Killer as well for
Okay.
6. Right. Yes. There's a short scream as a guy goes down with embedded
Spoon between the eyes.
a spoon between the eyes, cracking the visor of his helmet and dropping him to the ground. Okay, next up we have Andy with a 9 of hearts.
I thought they said 6 hours or we'd all die. They're late.
No, they said 6 hours or they're going to kill the kids.
Oh, all right.
This is the next scene.
Right.
9 hearts, Andy. So you go next.
I'd better have a shot at somebody then, hadn't I? Yes. Right, hang on. If I can see anybody, I shout at them. If not, that's just a wild shot in a general direction to keep their heads down.
Yes, there's the room is filling up with smoke, so there's a great big fur ball that's broken out. And unfortunately, you don't seem to have hit anybody. Tables have gone over. NPCs are shooting. Next up, we have.
There's never a Molotov when you need one.
Next up, we have Davey.
I'll use my gunslinger and fire 3-round burst at news.
Your gunslinger is that's the quick shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can only use that on the first attack of a combat, because it's like it represents your quick draw type firing.
Okay,
so you can't use it.
Okay, I'll just do a quick shot at them then.
Boo, 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 boo. Right. Unfortunately, Dave, there's no effect. Everybody, your shots are going wild because of the smoke. Why has Percy got so many fate points? So he never uses them. Right, it's NPCs to go next. So I'm going to roll the attackers versus the defenders as a group and see how many they take out. So the attackers roll. Two, and the defenders roll 3. Right. So in the mass hail of gunfire, the bodyguards actually managed to drop another one of the enemies. So that was quite good. And now I'm going to open up upon you lot with a bunch of automatic shotguns. Butter. Shells fly. It goes into slow motion as the shotgun shells are pumped out of the breaches, and there's just a spray of metal lead fills the room. So let's have a go first. Bracy, we have enough left to have everybody gets a shot, which is great.
Can I interrupt with my joker? And
yes, you can.
If I've heard the guy rackety slide, can I put a round where that noise was and try and drop him before he opens fire?
You can, yes. Damn you and your jokers. Because he's just rolled a 5. So that's the first good roll I've ever had as a GM.
Yeah. 5. 6, 8.
8 against his defense of 2. Right. So, yes, it goes into slow motion, John Wick style. There's a great, like, boom, 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 as the shotgun shells zoom out in slow motion. Like, it walks the shot up the couch towards where Bracy's hand, and then the camera zooms in and it looks down the end of Bracy's gun and it just goes bang, shoots him straight through the head, and he drops onto the ground. Next up, we have. I've got to shoot at Earl because Earl is the next one in that. And I get a -2. Well, that is just amazing. 4 minuses. Right, all you can smell is cordite and automatic shotgun shells going on. Go on, Elf, roll a defensive type thing.
I will.
You will roll to the side or dive behind a table, hide behind an NPC.
That's a bit mean, but I will quickly dive behind the table and upturn the table to help other people.
Yeah, easily. Right, so you avoid taking any damage. Next up, we have Andy. As you are attacked,
them by upturning the table.
You can create an advantage. Yes.
Cool.
You've got 2 to beat Andy. They're not specifically aiming for you. They're just opening up with automatic shotguns widely into the room while there's a massive return firefight.
I'm staying carefully behind cover.
Yeah, so the shotgun pellets like bounce off the metal table that you're kind of behind. And finally, Dave. You got a bit of 4, Dave. And
I quickly dive into cover.
I may use a fate point. In fact, I will use a fate point because it's not worth spending them if you're not going to actually have any effect. But I will. The room has the aspect hail of lead as everybody is shooting everywhere. So
Can I spend a fate point as well? Then?
I'm going to invoke the aspect hail of lead. -6. Yes, you can, Dave. And what are you going to do? Like, for instance, you invoke the aspect that it's quite smoky. So it's hard to be hit.
Smoky and a big thick table.
So that still takes it down to a 2. So you can take either a 2 stress hit or you can take a 2-point wound, basically.
I'll take a 2, which is better to take.
Stress is just cuts and bruises.
Yeah, I'll take the stress then.
Right, so you zinged in the arm and you take 2 shotgun shells, shotgun pellets. They go through your bicep, but it's not bad. It's not a real deep penetrator. Right, so, gentlemen.
Do we have to wait till the next round to do a non-combat action?
You get one action. So if you want to create an advantage, right?
Yeah, I want to spend the fate point and create an advantage. I want to suddenly realise by spending a fate point that I'm sat that the air conditioner switch, which is set to suck, is right beside us. So I want to smash it on to suck all the bloody smoke out. So I want to see what the hell we're fighting.
Right, so there's a joker pulled, so I redale. Oh, Bressy's on the ace of diamonds. We just need to practice the cards, gentlemen. That's all we have to do.
That's me.
Dave's on Jack of Spades. Andy's on 6 of Spades.
Did I get a card there?
You did. You got
2 clubs.
10.
10 of clubs.
No, 10 of clubs. I got 2 clubs. I go last. Right.
Morgan
so
says 50 million of clubs. He loves watching this game.
Right. Okay. So first up, we have Ace of Diamonds. That's Bracy. You're creating an advantage.
I'm
Yes.
creating an advantage and spend the fate point to have the air conditioning switch right beside us, which will smash onto max.
Right. And what advantage are you trying to create?
I'm sucking out, or I'm turning it to suck out the smoke, so we can see what the hell we're shooting at.
Right. Okay. So what you need to do is you just make a roll. That will be flashy, and then you get +2 for your fate point, and you've got to get a 2 as a success, which will be a +2. But because you use a fate point, that's a +4. Right. So you have 2 +2s. You can add them to anybody else's action in the turn, or you can keep them for yourself. Next up, we have Earl on 10 of clubs.
2-6. Right. Can I in any way? How many people are we fighting against?
You're not sure, but you estimate just over a dozen.
Oh, shit.
There's 5 down.
Can I give suppressant? Can I put down suppressant fire? Like pull both my pistols out and just start blazing down the corridor to try to keep heads down, so people like bracing that.
Yeah. So you can create an advantage. Yeah. Just roll your flashy.
Whoa!
Wow. Okay. So Bracy's got 2 +2 stacked up, and Earl's now got 2 +2 slashed up. So between the two of you, the party's got +8 that you can keep for yourself or thrash about. I see one massive hail of gunfire going on here at the end of the round. Next up, we have
+8 for all the bodyguards, I think.
Next up, we have Andy on 6 of spades. Oh no, Dave. Some people have got them above the heads and some people have got them above the characters. You got the jack of spades, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have gone first, but never mind.
Well, I'll do a quick 3-round burst at the bad guys.
Right, okay, are you using any of your advantage?
Yeah.
Well, you don't get to choose. Are you two passing only on to Dave?
Yeah, I'll pass one on to Dave. 1 plus.
So that's a 3 plus 2. Right, so that's even Stevens for Dave. So you hold. So Earl's holding 2 plus 2s and Bracey's holding plus 2. But George hasn't managed to put any down. And then finally it's Andy on 6 of spades.
Right. What I intend to do is this little person who's crouching next to me, I'm going to forcibly remove from them the very large dish of small, round, hard sweetmeats that they're holding, and then chuck it across the floor. So the blokes coming towards us are going to have to be running on effectively marbles.
Right. So you're going for an advantage as well. Right. Okay. Give us a roll. A standard roll's 2. If you get a 4, then you get a bonus. So you get 2 for plus 2 or 4 for 4 or more.
Right. Now what would it go off,
Flashy.
you think?
That is flashy.
Right.
Right. So you gain 1 plus 2. So you're back up to a plus 2, 2 plus 2s, and a plus 2. So you've got 8 at the moment. Right. And now it's NPC's turn. So are you aiding the NPCs in any way?
Oh, yes. We're dumping everything into the NPCs.
Right.
I
I
think.
agree.
Right. So Tracy's giving a plus 2. I was giving a plus 4. And Andy, are you giving your plus 2 as well?
Oh, yeah, I'll give them mine as well.
All right. So we're talking plus 8. So that's 9 versus 0. Okay. Now, as unlikely as it seems, I'm not going to be able to affect the outcome with fear points. So there's a great crescendo of gunfire, like the OK Corral. All you hear is like that, and then it all just stops. Bracey's got the accuracy gun. The last wisps of smoke just drift away, clearing the view, and you just see a load of dead bodies lying on the floor. 2 of them are wearing like diplomatic armor with Imperial sunbursts on, and the rest seem to be wearing combat armor and carrying automatic shotguns.
Do we recognise what diplomatic house they're from? Or which house they're from?
It is the Scropes.
There's a surprise.
Yes,
Shoot
I'll be
in the
back
face.
in 20 seconds.
Give us 2 seconds.
That was me being hassled by the. Did you heard that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a great gunfight, the OK Corral moment, and then there's just the last whiffs of the smoke grenades get sucked into the RC, and all of the bodies lie on the floor. Right, the whole area is locked down. You hear police sirens. VIP's present. Police grav speeders come hurtling in. And also some Imperial Marines turn up. And basically, that is the end of the party. Is there anything you want to do first?
Reload. Just in case. I don't know. I suppose we better, if anybody needs first aid or help, we can help them.
Right. There's a couple of dead, and you patch up the rest. You have you feel yourselves getting ready to jump back through the Bifrost coffins into your own bodies. The things that happen that you find out that it happened just as you head off to become your normal selves again. The mess, just diplomatically and physically, is immense. The media suddenly becomes hostile to Little Heaven, although there's a steady trickle of applicants to emigrate, both Varga and human. The story is that these peasants and urban scum shot up some convicts, made a big splash in the papers, and had tea with the Emperor. Then they couldn't guarantee their guests' safety at a tatty third-rate party. The hostility to Varga, especially the Spacedogs family and friends, is pronounced, and the expected sales contracts aren't forthcoming. Yeah. Although there's a lot of elderly equipment in the consulate they can buy for the colony. However, there's some compensations. The colony gets clear title to the Hot Rod and the Spaceway Star. The Scropes have left debts, but Little Heaven had a prior claim. Stargun's battery assets get transferred, 150,000 credits, 2 motors, a grav truck, and all 3 tracked armoured vehicles, all carrying quad-mounted HMGs, and 2 pods of 3 anti-tank rockets. As a once-only keep your mouth shut gesture, the Navy shunts 5 old system defence boats to the colony and even loans them a portable dock to repair the loose booty. The Marines throw in a field hospital and dressing station for those injured from the original raids. The Defence SEALs team sends an insincere, apparently grovelling apology and some cases of surplus weapons and ammunition.
Nice.
The loose booty survivors are invited to agree to a generous out-of-court settlement, which includes replacing their old ship with a new one, the risky business. Just before you jump, the last thing that happens is Suzuki visits you and tells you that uprooting a semi-noble house, albeit murderous pirates, has upset the mood. It would be best if the colony kept a very low profile, accepting other unlovables and dissidents, but not expecting much in the way of aid or trade. He emphasizes that you should persuade your friends and family to leave silent as quickly as possible. Even with reliable security, there's no doubt there will be some anti-Varga fanatics who will find a way to harm you. He says, goodbye. I've got a new job as First Secretary to the High Commission on Land. And then you feel your bodies start to shake again and you pop out through the Bifrost coffin back onto 00. You have finished Space Dogs.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey, I thought that was amazing bit.
Right, so epilogue. You're summoned into the office of Rose Wild. Right, so you're taken into the office of Rose Wild back on 00. She congratulates you on a successful mission. You've provided a full briefing, a debriefing, filled in your forms and what have you from the last mission. She says to you that she's extremely worried about this brass kraken creature or ship or whatever it might be. We've interrogated several disruptor prisoners, and since Luther Arkwright blew up the disruptor homeworld, there seems to have been some of the higher ranking rooks have styled themselves as Disruptor Kings and Disruptor Queens, new pieces that were never on the board before, and they're all sort of splitting the multiverse up into their own little fiefdoms. She thinks that the Brass Kraken is possibly one of these factions. Now, the only place that something like that could have come from was in the Disruptor world, the world ship. There's a place that they have been told of by the captured agents called the Dark, which is a Europe-sized dumping ground for biological horrors and things like that. Unfortunately, she says we can't go in there to find out more about the Brass Kraken because the radiation from when Luther Arkwright destroyed the parallel is lethal. She says, however, we are working on it.
Can I just ask you something? Is this Middlesbrough?
Is it Middlesbrough? Yes, if
Sounds
Middlesbrough,
awfully like Middlesbrough.
if it was Middlesbrough was the size of Europe and was filled with criminals, genetic mutations, and monsters, yes.
But basically, the only thing different is its size.
Pretty much, yeah. And she says, unfortunately, as you know, you blew up our prototype van.
Well, we didn't really blow it up. It just had an accident.
She says, so I'm afraid there's only one thing I can do. And she opens her desk and takes out a small box. She slides the small black box across the desk towards you. And
I will take the black box and go, and then go.
She says, please open it. It's like a long box, about, the ones that you kind of get watches in.
I shuffle sideways away from Earl.
I'll open it and go, what's this?
She says, I can't believe I'm having to do this. She says, Cougar's team was number 1, but he's crapped out, so use 2 and number 2. And inside you've got the silver Thor's hammer sigil of Wotan. And she says, we're going to give you a promotion to Mjolnir.
Oh, yeah!
You've been specifically requested that you've been promoted to Mjolnir. And report R&D, because apparently they have the Van Mark II and they need somebody to test it. And you're the only team that's actually been in the Van Mark 1.
We'll do it. Can I use my best team aspect?
Your what team aspect?
I have the aspect, my team is best team.
Yes.
I will use it.
Right. So she says, take a few days off, retrieve you've got the black Mjolnir uniforms to collect, which will be tailored to your size. You've got your rank insignia. And then once you've had sufficient rest, please report to Freya Lingstad.
We should do that because my team is the best team.
She is the head. She's the head of the Mjolnir strike team.
I will spend the next few days filling in all the appropriate requisition forms for stupid amounts of stupidly unnecessary gear for everyone. And fulfilling every single one of the requirements that our team needs. So, it's like, oh, well, you all have to be inoculated against, rabies, the flu, measles, myxomatosis in case you get turned into rabbits, that sort of thing. We're going to fulfill everything by the book and go over the top in requisitions to the Q department.
We want
my team,
everything.
best team.
And thus completed Spacedogs, and you move on to the next chapter as a Mjolnir team.
Oh, oh, that was brilliant.